So are we just trying to find something else? I don't really know. Hey look, it's Larry. Oh, he's painted something. Alright. Oh, it's still so strange just starting where I did. But I can't really do much about it, unfortunately. On the service cart, Miss Hall has prepared her tea set. But the latest thing to happen was we basically went over the IS-7 incident and got all of the evidence from the IS-7 incident, and also identified that the body in the fountain was actually Isaac Dover's, the body that was never found 18 years ago. According to the pamphlet, the museum is also famous for its tea. Yes, it certainly had a flavourful, rich taste. Wasn't it also citrusy, or was that something else? It seems this tea set was also made by Mr. Dover. Oh, so the tea set was made by the victim. Let's take a closer look. Switch screen. At what? We have the tea. I keep nearly calling it a lamp. The teapot. So this tea set was made by Isaac Dover. Fancy stuff, huh? Okay. I'd say this tea set is worth thousands of dollars. Please be careful with it. This tea set is such a treasure? Please don't look so excited. If I recall correctly, Miss Hall was a huge fan of Mr. Dover. Oh, we got the teapot. Kate's favourite teapot made by Pierre Houquet. Not Houquet. AKA Isaac Dover. Huh? Okay. Whew. Hey, Edgy! What is it? Be careful with that teapot. Why must I be warned by him of all people? Oh. Madame and Messieurs? Would you care for some tea? Miss Hall! Ah, Katie! No, I'm fine, thanks. Kay and Edgy, you guys can have some. Well, since you asked, we might as well take a short break. Certainly. Okay. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Thanks for the tea. I still don't see how you would drink from a star-shaped cup. It just seems like it would make a mess. Wow, it's so tasty. What kind of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Ceylon tea. Known for its citrus aroma. However, Miss Hall, is this the same tea you served us this morning? Yes, that's right. Was it not to your liking? No, it's not that. The tea we had this morning had a slightly different aroma. Oh, different tea aroma. Smells different from the tea we had this morning. Did something change? Bum ba bum. How strange. It is the same Ceylon tea I served this morning. There shouldn't be anything different about it. What's wrong with you, Edgy? Quit nitpicking about the tea Katie so kindly prepared for you. Larry, what are you getting so upset about? I'm not upset. You're just being a rude jerk. And I told you to call me Laurice. Sheesh. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Ah, peace and quiet. It's like arguing with a child. Laurice, I wonder what's wrong. I'd like to ask him about that. I'd like to ask him that later myself. And I also need to speak with Miss Hall. I don't have any evidence that shows she is the culprit, but I dare say she is the one who set up the poison gas trap. Okay, so now we're back at the tea thing. Bum bum bum. Okay, so we've examined the teapot. We got the tea aroma. Ba 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 ba. Oh, what is that? Oh, did somebody drop something? I just noticed there's a stain. The smell in this colour. Don't tell me this is a puddle of tea. pH. There's a piece of pottery in the middle of the puddle. Found in a puddle of tea, the design looks familiar. Touch the check button for details. What is that off of? It's a pottery shard. I wonder what broke. I think I recognise the design. Should probably show this to that man and see what he has to say. To that man. I'm assuming it would be Larry. I mean, the stain is right where he was stood. Larry, got a question. Larry, tell me what you're hiding. You two, stop glaring at each other like that. I'm not glaring, Kay. I'm using my artist's perspective. Edgy's the one who's glaring. Then, if you know what's good for you, you will tell me what you're hiding right now. No way, dude. Didn't I say that I'm not talking to you anymore? Aren't you talking to me right now? From now on, I'm definitely not talking to you anymore. I'm not going to get anywhere like this. Looks like I'll have to force it out of him. Oh. Hey, we have his theme. Very nice. Okay, I'll present. Where is it? There it is. The pottery shard. Larry, take a look at this. What's that? As he starts sweating buckets. Larry, I've got a feeling that you're hiding... Oh, that what you're hiding is related to the tea and this pottery shard. Well, if you're not going to talk to me, I can always hand this shard over to Judge Courtney. Wait, I'm trying to keep a clean image for Justy. I don't want her to see how I've dirtied myself. I can't imagine what part of you can be considered clean, but... If you don't want her to declare you guilty, I suggest you speak truthfully now. Yeah, I got it. I'll tell you. Hey, hiding something. Larry, it's time you confessed to what you've done. How can you be so cruel to your best friend? The same way you can be so dishonest to your best friend. Well, you can stop glaring at me. I promise to tell the truth this time for sure. I just thought I'd pour Justy some tea. But my hand kinda slipped a bit, and it broke. I accidentally broke the crazy expensive teapot. Oh, the butt strikes again. Why am I not surprised? Oh boy. You've really done it this time, Loris. What should I do, Edgy? Katie will hate me. Crying to me about it won't solve anything. First, you should apologise to Miss Hall. Oh, he's grovelling. Is that so? My teapot was... Katie, I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll draw as many portraits of you as you like. Please kindly raise your head, monsieur. It is I who should apologise. I didn't notice the broken shards. It's dangerous, so I'll tidy up the broken pieces. Allow me to take this piece from you as well. Wasn't this tea set one of Isaac Dover's works? I heard that it was very important to you. Yes. But there's no use crying over spilled tea. Besides, I still have another one of those teapots left. Is she not as attached to Dover's works as she used to be? Katie, you're so kind. Oh. The other teapot you were talking about, is it the one on the cart? Or on that cart? Yes. Truth is, when I was trying to hide the broken shards, I looked under the cart, and I found a teapot that looked exactly the same, so I switched them. Larry switched the broken teapot with another teapot. Pots were switched. Really? Yeah, everything's cool now. I took great care to make sure no one would break that pot. You... don't brag about that when you were the one who broke it in the first place. I'm sorry. I don't mind. Thank you for your consideration. Edgy, Katie is a really nice lady, isn't she? You should reflect on how you cause trouble for people like her. Okay, when I make it big as an artist, I'll donate paintings. In fact, I'll even welcome you as my own personal model. I think it'd be better if you just stopped causing trouble. I hope you haven't done anything else. I haven't, I just stood around sketching beauties. Sketching beauties? If you're interested, I can let you take a peek. I guess even Mr. Edgeworth is interested in beauties. It's not like that. I just thought it might be another one of his strange paintings. How dare you? I'm very confident in my work this time. Ooh, I want to see too. Oh, I'm glad you're so honest about it, Kay. I'll get it ready, so come check it out later. My goodness, I guess I'll have him show it to me later. Bum bum ba bum ba bum bum bum. Oh, sketching beauties. Yeah, sure. About that sketch you mentioned just now. What? If you wanted to see my art, you should have been honest about it from the start. Look, here it is. Whoa! That's actually pretty good. What is this? I already told you, it's a sketch of beauties. Ah, but just to be clear, the beauties only refers to just he and Katie. I figured. That other plump lady has nothing to do with that. Then why did you draw her on the same page? Well, I was taking a break from my still life painting when those beauties caught my eye. I guess I just drew them on the same page without thinking. So you're saying that the pictures on this page were each drawn separately? Huh? Oh yeah. I may have drawn them at different times. By the way, there's a drawing of the beautiful little Miss K on another page. Wow, beautiful, huh? Thanks. Larry, you drew this exactly as you saw it, correct? Well, yeah. Even I can't draw what I can't see. Recreated the scene perfectly, even the delicate shades. Delicate shades, huh? I don't want to admit it, but this picture might be of help in to the investigation. The contents of this sketch in the service cart in the fountain patio. It seems there is a contradiction between the two. The fact that the cart has chocolate on it? I'll need to expose this contradiction using my powers of deduction. Could I borrow this sketch for a while? Sure. I could even sign it for you if you like. I think I'll pass. Sketch of beauties. Larry draw this sketch just as he saw it, touch the check button for details. Alright. Oh yeah, I think I can actually connect my logic. Not there we go. The different tea aroma is because the pots were switched. Boosh! Hey Nanalex, how's it going? This is Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Or Gyakuten Kenji 2. It's a spin-off from the Ace Attorney series, where it's basically a murder mystery. For the most part. Maybe the reason why the Ceylon tea smelled different was because the pots had been switched. Eh? Really? The taste of the tea itself did not actually change after all. Let's go ask Miss Hall about it in more detail. Miss Hall? Was the reason why the Ceylon tea smelled different because the pots were switched? Yes. That's certainly possible. Okay. It had a fresh minty aroma, not unlike that of Yuva tea. Oh, I remember now. I prepared some mint tea yesterday. I'm sure that the aroma just happened to remain in the teapot. Pot with a different aroma. The tea has a minty aroma because a different teapot was used. Is that what I can match up with the normalium? Because that also has a minty aroma. Is that really all there is to it? Yeah, because it does say it's got a minty aroma. And also, normalium is a red liquid with a minty aroma. I guess so. Connect! What fruit does this bear? And it worked. The minty aroma was emanating from the pot Larry had replaced. Miss Hall said the aroma was left over from the mint tea she prepared yesterday. Indeed, she seemed less surprised to find out that Larry broke the teapot, and more surprised by the fact that the pots had been switched. That's right. Normally, it would have been the reverse. A broken teapot is much more shocking. She was probably trying to hide this teapot. Hide the pot. One of the characteristics of normalium is a minty aroma. There is a possibility that she was hiding normalium inside this teapot. What? Inside the pot? It is only a possibility for now, but it's one worth investigating. Ah. Oh, Mr. the Best, I assume you haven't found the normalium yet. How many games do I have? 7,150. About. Actually, no. I think it's 7,138. Roundabout. Huh? Oh! I've had the entire art museum searched, but I haven't received any reports yet. And what about you? Don't you have any ideas? Only one. I knew it. Nobody but me would be able to find it. Wait, what? You have an idea where it is? Indeed. Then tell me. Yeah, I have a lot of games. I think I've got 310 on Xbox 360, 400 on Xbox One, like 10 Xbox games. PlayStation, altogether I have about 2,000 games. Like 600 on PS3, 500 on PS2, about 250 on PS1. PSP I have about 300. I have a lot. In my, below the stream it should actually have a link to my game collection. which lists every game I own. Then tell me. It may have been in this teapot that Miss Hall had used. Oh, this teapot is pretty nice. It would make the perfect present for the best prosecutor. It's not a present. It's an important piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence. Then I guess I'll have forensics take a look at it. I like how he doesn't even say anything, he just points at him. You! Monsieur Edgeworth. Is there something wrong with the teapot I used? This teapot has a minty aroma to it. It's the same aroma as one of the two chemicals used to create the poison gas. Monsieur Edgeworth, surely you don't mean... You suspect me of having set off the poison gas? I do. Setting up the poison gas trap in the Autumn Palace would have required some preparation. As the curator of this museum, you're the only one who could have prepared it in advance. I wonder about that. Preparations for the opening of the museum took about a week, and I received help from both outsiders and Madame Delicia. I think there are people besides me who are also suspicious. Of course, Delicia is also under scrutiny. Furthermore, I don't even know how to create something like poison gas. It's not hard, you have to mix two chemicals together, and poof! Even if you found normalium in my teapot, there is no way I could have prepared the poison gas. I mean, to be fair, it did need Megatoxin X, which was not commonly available. Well then, I look forward to hearing the analysis results of the teapot. Her excuse is that she doesn't know how to prepare the poison gas. I must find a way to shatter that excuse. Okay, that was weird. Like, loaded, then black screen. Ba 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 ba. Do I actually have anything worthwhile in my organizer? Not really. Can I speak with Kate? Again. Miss Hall, where have you been until now? I was showing the remaining guests out and handing out complimentary gifts as an apology. Did you require my services? Yes, there are a few things I want to ask you about. If my suspicions are correct, she's the one who set up the poison gas trap. Ah, okay, the poison gas trap. Ba ba ba. How exactly did you prepare the melted sculptures from 18 years ago? My, so you know about what happened 18 years ago? It's because 18 years ago I photographed Monsieur Dover's sculptures. Using the photos as a base, I managed to create replicas. Damn. Replicas? The Zodiac sculptures had been an unfinished work, so I wanted to complete it somehow. Because I am the one who accidentally melted Monsieur Dover's sculptures. And could you tell me why the Autumn Palace resembles the Winter Palace so much? Well, my apologies. Did they really look so alike? I think I may have gotten some of the decorations mixed up. She is obviously lying. But I haven't gathered any evidence to prove that yet. Okay. Oh yeah, God, I completely forgot. I have the Sketch of Beauties, which I need to deduce. Yeah, from the cart. Because they look completely different. The one that Kate's pushing around... I don't think I need to put it anywhere specific. Yeah, the one that Kate's pushing around only has chocolates on it. Whoosh! Eureka! Very nice. Larry, there's something I want to ask you about your sketch. Huh? You want a lecture on sketching from the framed Professor Laurice, do you? No. I just need to ask you something. The tablecloth in your sketch, are you sure it was light blue? Oh, that's what we're getting at. Really? I was like, what was on it? I never even realised. I mean, it's white on that table. And yeah, it is blue. I was just the fact it had chocolates on it. I thought that was the difference. Oh, I feel stupid. Yeah, my eyes never fail me. My eyes fail me, it appears. But the one on the service cart here is white, isn't it? Dude. You're always so busy thinking with just your head that you miss the obvious. What's with that look on your face? When I drew that painting, I was using the cart with the tea set on it, remember? Oh, it was a different cart. because I was tidying up the broken pottery shards. That's not something to be proud of. And right then, Katie came out of the Winter Palace. I had to hurry and hide the broken teapot, so that she wouldn't notice it. And she had a separate cart? Oh. I like how everything's in black and white except for the cart. It's also got a shitload of chocolates, more than just like 4, which was shown in the drawing. Did you just say Miss Hall came out of the Winter Palace? That's right. But this time she was pushing another service cart. And the tablecloth was light blue, just like how I drew it. Oh. What did she do with that service cart? Beats me. She went into the Summer Palace with it, so I don't know. When she came out, she was pushing the lift trolley. The lift trolley? When I called out to her, she was so surprised that she just left it there. She's so cute when she's shy. A second service cart. And a lift trolley. Maybe there were 2 tea sets, along with 2 service carts. We'll have to verify it with Miss Hall. Huh. Alright. I actually deduced everything. Now can I speak with Kate? Oh, now, yes, because now we know of the existence of 2 service carts. Of course. Oh, there we go. 2 service carts. Is it true you keep 2 service carts on the premises? Yes. Is there something wrong? Earlier I was looking at one of the sketches from that so-called artist, and I noticed that he had drawn the cart's tablecloth light blue. Light blue? Are you sure you weren't mistaken, monsieur? I only ever use tablecloths that are pure white. Oh, really? That's true, the tablecloth here doesn't have a single spot on it. Yes, that's because I always change them immediately whenever they get dirty. Did Larry really get the colour wrong, then? What were you doing when this sketch was drawn? At that time, I was just doing my job as usual. Then could you tell me exactly what that work entails? Kate's job. What were you doing when you were drawn in this sketch? From the looks of the drawing, it doesn't seem like you were transporting the tea set. This was when I was delivering chocolates to all the people in the investigation. That's why there was a mountain. Ah, how nice. Chocolates. Wish I could have got some too. There are still a few left, so please eat these then. I made them myself, though it's possible they might not suit your taste. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Thank you. Perhaps it's because she had them in her pocket, but it looks like they've melted a bit. No, she's just very good at making misshapen sweets, which I still don't understand why that's an issue. Why is a misshapen sweet a bad thing? Who cares? And made by Miss Hall, they were kept inside her pocket, so they could have melted a little. Lovely. The sweet goodness. I'm happy to hear you say that. These chocolates are a little misshapen. Every fucking person points out the fact they're misshapen. And I don't understand why that's a big deal. Is it just me? Well, I'm glad to get some sugar into my system. Although they're a little too sweet for my taste. My god, Edwith is just like his father. Right, well, we learned about the chocolates. We also got some chocolates. Right, oh, forensics guy's finished. We've recovered the victim's body. Forensics are currently performing the autopsy. What on the investigation of the fountain? The fountain is completely clear. You could cleanse both your heart and soul with it. A body was floating in this fountain. Just a moment ago, though. Yeah, okay. Can I actually examine the fountain? It appears the body has already been recovered by the police. Why was the body of the victim from 18 years ago found floating in the fountain? I mean, wouldn't the body have gone all goopy after 18 years? That was my point. I mean, I wouldn't have said goopy either, but I did say it would not... I don't know, it would have probably gone terrible. There are 5 cases, but each case takes about between 3 and 6 hours, I'd say. They're very long, but very good. I don't know if I would call it goopy. It certainly would have required a special method to preserve the body. Yeah, I wonder if such a method even exists. Hey, Mr. Forensic Guy, any new information? Yes. Normalium and Fatalium have been detected in the fountain water. They must have flowed through the stream from the Autumn Palace to the fountain. I mean, there's actually one case in the first Ace Attorney game that took me 8 hours to complete. It was the final case. and it was an absolute doozy. Aside from the chemicals, we also found high levels of sugar. Okay. Every single game in this series has taken about 20 hours to complete. They're very long games, but very good. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, because for the most part they're just visual novels with investigations, but I really like the story and also just the satisfaction you get from finding the true culprit and stuff. It's great. Oh, I didn't do it in one sitting. It took me, I think, 3 sessions. But the last session I did it for 4 hours. We're working hard on investigating it. Sugar in the fountain water. What could have caused that? The chocolate? Oh, someone's getting a call. Is it Gumshoe? This is Edgeworth. Hey, it's Gumshoe! Very nice. Did something happen? Actually, right now all the investigators but me have left the Winter Palace. So I can finally tell you what we found. It's not good for a detective to be leaking out information about the investigation, but... Oh, to be fair, the 4 hours I spent on the first game is nothing compared to Persona 5. I recorded and streamed that game in a week. And the longest session I had was 7 hours. 7 hours straight. And it was because I think I did all of Futaba's palace in one sitting. God, what a day that was. That was fun. I can't believe I could still talk after it, to be honest. His resourcefulness has saved me many times these past few days. All the sculptures in the Winter Palace have melted. There's still some liquid left in the cases, but... there's less in the Gemini case than in the Taurus case. There's still liquid in the glass cases? Yes, sir. We just investigated the light blue liquid a moment ago. We only detected sugar in the Taurus case, but... for some reason, in the Gemini case, we detected 3 different substances. What would that be? Normalium, Fatalium, and... actually, what could the other one be? Sugar? 3 substances. They consisted of sugar, salt, and blood. Oh, okay. Blood. Blood and salt were detected in the Gemini case. I wonder whose blood it could have been. I've asked forensics to look into it, sir. Right, I'll leave it to you, detective. That reminds me, the forensics investigating the fountain patio contacted me. It seems the sugar found in the fountain matches that found in the light blue liquid. Oh, sounds like valuable information. So liquid analysis results. Found salt, sugar, and blood. Alright. Is that all the new information you have for me? Now that you mention it, we found a rainbow light device in there too. The device was used to disguise the Autumn Palace. It seems the device that was used in the IS-7 incident is also connected to this one. I should listen to what Delicia has to say about that. I have to go back to investigating now, sir. When we get the results of the blood tests, I'll let you know right away. Yes, thank you, detective. Alright, not bad. Was that Gummy calling? That sure was a long call. But thanks to him, we now have an important piece of information. In order to break Miss Hall's alibi, I'll need to talk to everyone involved in the IS-7 incident. That means Delicia! Alrighty. Delicia, would you be willing to aid in the investigation? Yesy, of course. Anything for Miley and Kei-Fei. Her fucking nicknames. I'll listen to whatever you have to say. I was wondering if you could stop calling me Miley. And stop calling me Kei-Fei. Fee, that's out of the question. I can't just change a name I've already decided on. Ugh. Even if we ask her, she won't listen to what we have to say at all. That's Delicia. Alright, the decorations. Do you know anything about the decorations that are used in this museum? No, I don't think it is her. She's been suspected twice. She's just, I don't know, very klutzy, I think. She is the only person that got access to Megatoxin X, so that's still, a point, but I don't think it's her. Specifically the forensic fluorescent cloth and a special device called a rainbow light device. You see, of course I do. Because they are presents that I gave to Katie. As an apology for breaking the rules 18 years ago. I gave her 4 new rock salt lamps and the 4 fluorescent cloths I used in the contest. Oh no, to be fair, even if it's a joke, that could actually be the case in most things. It could be her. I don't think it is. But that's the thing, when it comes to finding out the killer, it's sometimes really hard to actually figure out who it actually is. Oh, that sounds nice. Fluorescent cloths and a rock salt lamps. Seems like only us girls can understand how wonderful they are. That's a cruel thing to say, Miss Delicious. I like them too, you know. Fee, that was back when Rere was still a cute little boy. Back when Mr. Shields was a cute little boy? I can't even imagine it. Are they the same decorations you saw 18 years ago? Probably. The rock salt lamp, the cloth and the rainbow light device. They all seem the same. Fluorescent cloths were used in the Autumn Palace, but I have the feeling I saw one more of the same cloth. It's true. Look, I've got the proof right here in my bag. Oh, that's where the other one was. What is she searching for? Not this. Not this either. Oh yeah, I forgot that actually did pop up. I remember seeing cloth like that recently. Let's show Delicia and have her confirm my suspicions. Right, okay. I mean, I'll speak about this first. I'd like to ask you something since you're a pharmacist. Exactly how would one gain the knowledge required to set off poison gas? Oh, that's basic knowledge for any pharmacist acquainted with Megatoxin X. It even says on the warning label, danger, do not mix with normalium. Then, is there another way for someone who isn't a pharmacist to obtain that information? Well... it might be possible if they've seen the Angel's recipe. The recipe book that was the grand prize of the contest 18 years ago. Since it also contains the recipe to prepare Megatoxin X. Oh! Contained in the book, the Angel's recipe also contains the method to prepare the poison gas. Ah. Does this mean that you've also seen the contents of the Angel's recipe? Yes, that's a given, of course. The pharmaceutical company I work for is the Master Group. It's the company that makes the Cold Killer X medicine. Cold Killer X. The cold medicine that promises to kill colds good. After Jeffy got declared guilty, the company took back the recipe book. However, only a small group of elite pharmacists have been allowed to see it though. So this woman is also a part of that small group of elite pharmacists. Okay, so now if I present the fluorescent cloth... Wasn't there a dirty rag in your bag that looked similar to this? Fee, I'm not going to give any information to someone who calls it a dirty rag. Then, would it be better if I called it a washcloth? Fee, wrong again. It's a fluorescent cloth. Ah, oopsie. That was supposed to be a secret. Please, tell me all you know about this fluorescent cloth. Ah, you silly goose. Alright. Please, tell me the reason why you hid this cloth. I guess I have no choice, since the cat's out of the bag. I found this cloth floating in the fountain, and right after that, I was called to the Autumn Palace. So that's the moment Larry captured art in his so-called sketch of beauties. At first I thought one of the fluorescent cloths I'd given Katie had washed away. But didn't you only give 4 fluorescent cloths as a present to this museum? There were 4 fluorescent cloths covering the sculptures in the Autumn Palace, right? So that's when I realised that this was the cloth that went missing 18 years ago. Jesus, so many things go missing and just turn up 18 years later. The poison gas broke out because someone had stolen my Megatoxin X. So I thought the fluorescent cloth had also been used for the crime. I was afraid I'd be suspected, so I didn't say anything about it to anyone. I see. But I sure feel a lot better after talking about it. Stress isn't good for your figure after all. 18 years ago, the cloth that was wrapped around the body went missing. Who would have thought it would turn up in the fountain along with the body? Given to Kate by Delicia, the cloth that vanished 18 years ago was found floating in the fountain. Wow. So, what logic do I currently have? Contained in the book. Right, I only have that. So, who else could I speak with? Well, there's someone else that's involved in the IS-7. Oh, how can I forget? Ray! Miles, how's the investigation going? Well, little by little I'm beginning to see the entire truth behind the case. Oh, that's good to hear. Uncle Ray had better not fall behind either. Oh, nice, we get to hear his song. Oh, that's great. I love his theme. Right, anyway, about the two cases. This case seems to have a lot in common with the case 18 years ago. I agree, the melted ice in the Winter Palace and the body of the victim from 18 years ago. I wonder why nobody ever noticed the body was missing after all this time. The only family Mr. Dover had was a young son. His son, the Mr. Gustavia's son, who attended the same elementary school. After the case, they both went missing. What? And they haven't been found yet? I haven't heard any news about Mr. Gustavia's son being found. As for Mr. Dover's son, he was found and his inheritance was delivered to him. And because of that, Mr. Dover never had a proper funeral. That way, they were able to make it look like the body had been in police custody. The autopsy report had also been forged, so nobody but the defense ever found out. Von Karma, you would go that far. Okay, what about Keth? They're in Hall. Mr. Shields, could you tell me what kind of person Miss Hall is? Miles, don't tell me. You're also interested in Katie? No. Well, all joking aside, all Uncle Ray can say is, the Kate I know is a truly admirable woman. For 18 years she has always wanted to remain here, and wait for Master's return. However, she was driven out of the mansion by Master's relatives. What? She was driven out of the mansion? That's because Kate isn't related by blood to Mr. Master. With no family and her job taken from her. She could only live on with the song and dance that Mr. Master had taught her. Well, now she's retired as a world-famous actress, though. Why did she retire? Because she had already saved up enough money to buy this mansion. It seems she even got back the Angel's recipe that had been taken by the Master Group. What Kate did, Kate got back the mansion and the Angel recipe for Mr. Master's sake. This mansion, where she lived with Mr. Master, had been everything to her. She probably just wanted to take back everything that she lost. Ba 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 ba. It seems that Mr. Shields sympathises with Miss Hall. But you could also say that her actions have taken away everything Mr. Master had. Right, well I think I'm done with that. Oh man, I don't get to hear his song. I like that song too. I mean, if that was not obvious, given the fact I've said that like 17 times. Boom! So now this is basically, we're putting it together that she would have had knowledge of how to put together the poison gas. The method used to set off the poison gas is explained in the Angel's recipe. And the current owner of the Angel's recipe is Miss Hall. Ah, so that means... Indeed, it means that it is possible that she knew how to set off the poison gas. With this, we can expose her lies for what they are. What is this? this lift trolley has just been left here. I wonder if it was used recently to carry something heavy. Like our body? The surface of the platform appears to be wet. I remember seeing this lift trolley. Someplace before. You mean during the IS-7 incident? Ah, that's right. I remember now. It was in Dover's room. Oh yeah. I never noticed that when we got to see that previously. If I remember correctly, it was used to transport the ice sculptures. The lift trolley has a feature that allows you to adjust the height and angle of the platform. With just one of these, a single person could move the sculptures all by themselves. Lift trolley. 18 years ago, Dover used this to carry his ice sculptures. The surface of the platform is wet. Wow, how convenient. I want one too. Why is there a lift trolley here? I guess that's something we'll need to think about. Yes. It could be related to the case. Oh. Investigation complete. Now all that's left is to wait for the results of the teapot. Woohoo! Oh, right, to be continued. Well, that was unexpected. Bah. Yeah, of course I want to save. Are you kidding? You must be kidding. Alright. Oh god, I'm just gonna have songs stuck in my head. What is Alicia doing? She's just got the ball stuck to her face. Oh. I have a report. We have detected traces of normalium from the teapot. You can't be serious. It's just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Darn it, did Mr. Edgeworth take the title of the best from me again? Mr. the Best, it seems like you have an obsession about being the best. But when you're on a case, winning and losing is of no importance. What are you saying? Obviously, it's best to be the best at everything. If you can't understand that, then you have no business being a prosecutor. What? Overruled! Please stop harassing Sebastian. Sebastian, a person of your caliber has no need to listen to such things. Why is she, like, enabling him? I don't get it. Justine, yeah, you're right. I am better than him. Please, leave this to me. Why don't you go check on the victim's condition? Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll be right back then. There we go. Alright, I'll be waiting. Judge Courtney is much more troublesome than Mr. the Best. Considering the fact she constantly enables him, it's like someone of your caliber has no need to listen to this shit. I just don't understand why she enables him. Makes no sense. Unless the Best is essentially just her puppet. And that's what she treats him like. Well then. She gonna slam it down? Oh yeah. Miss Curator, can you tell us why normalium was discovered in the teapot? I was not aware that it contained such a chemical. I suppose it may have been an ingredient from the detergent I had used. So you're saying that you did not put it in deliberately? No, of course not. There is no way for me to have known how to create the poison gas. Yeah, that's a lie. Despite being a former actress, it seems you're not very good at lying. What do you mean? The angel's recipe is in your possession, and the method to create the poison gas is contained inside that recipe book. So you must have known how to create it. Oh! I'm surprised you knew about that. Miss Curator, is this true? It's true that information about the poison gas is contained in one of the recipes. However, just because I saw it does not mean that I was responsible for the crime. Could you tell me what set off the poison gas? It was caused by the victim heating the lid of the glass with a burner. Or gas case with a burner. I see. If he locked himself in that room of his own will and then set off the poison gas, wouldn't that suggest suicide? Oh, you're going on the same track as fucking Sebastian, and they got him Sebest. Does she intend to deny it until the bitter end? Furthermore, I wouldn't have been able to obtain a chemical like Megatoxin X. That may be true, but you could have stolen it from someone else. That reminds me, I met up with Katie a week ago and... that night was when I realised that my Megatoxin X was gone. Katie, you couldn't have. Madame Delicia always carried her medicine bag around with her. Anyone could have stolen it. That's right. I don't have any proof that she was the one who stole it. Kate, can you tell us what you're hiding? I know you're not the kind of person who would hurt someone without a reason. Monsieur Shields, you doubt me as well? Setting a trap on one of the gallery's exhibits, and then disguising the rooms. I just think it would have been impossible for anyone but the curator. That's not true. There are no guards or security cameras at this gallery. If any ill-intentioned person wanted to sneak into the gallery, it would have been an easy task for them. But then, isn't it like an all-you-can-steal buffet in here? You have to be careful. You never know when a great thief could appear. Doesn't sound like a joke when Kay says it. Actually, Monsieur Gustavia apparently entered the gallery before it opened. Well, I'm beat. Looks like Uncle Ray can't do anything to break down Kate's iron guard. This might be a good time to use a technique your old man taught me. The technique? My father taught you? This case is deeply connected to the one from 18 years ago. If we just pursue the present case, it may seem like there is a lot we don't understand. But if we try turning things around, there might be a hint in the case from the past. Thinking the other way around. Did my father do that too? For example, just consider the relationship between the past case and Kate. Miss Hall melted Mr. Dover's sherbet sculptures 18 years ago. And today, Mr. Dover's works are on display in this gallery. It can't be. She... I see. Now I know what to ask her. That's good to hear. In that case, Uncle Ray will just watch over you as you do your work. Miss Catherine Hall. 18 years ago, it seems that you melted Mr. Dover's sherbet sculptures. Yes, I was young and inexperienced, and I did something inexcusable. However, isn't that why you were able to open the Zodiac Art Gallery? I don't know what you mean. I don't understand either. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you seek her testimony? Yes, I would like her to tell me about the Zodiac Art Gallery. I would like to know the reason you decided to open a gallery for Mr. Dover's artwork. If you insist that this is related to the case at hand, I will allow it. Miss Curator, your testimony, if you please. Very well. If that will clear your suspicions about me. Now then, please testify about the Zodiac Art Gallery. Oh! The Zodiac Art Gallery. 18 years after Monsieur Master was arrested, I was finally able to buy back this mansion. Then, in order to maintain it, I decided to manage it as an art gallery. I collected Pierre Hoquet's works from all over the world. After all, it was my dream to open the Zodiac Art Gallery. Huh. It's wonderful that your dream has come true. What do you think, Prosecutor Edgeworth? I don't believe there was anything strange about her testimony. Judge Courtney, I believe in the courtroom it is standard to cross-examine the witness. Wouldn't you agree it's a little too early to say that there are no contradictions? You speak like a defense attorney. Very well. Proceed, as you please. Alright. Right, yeah, press. I was very confused as to what I'm doing. It must have taken a lot of hard work these past 18 years to buy back the mansion. The place full of my memories with Monsieur Master. It's the only place for me. Oh god. No matter what, at any cost, I wanted it back. She looks like she's having fun. I love that he claps like a goddamn seal. Well, she is a former actress. Singing and dancing is her livelihood. Enough with the singing. Please continue your testimony. Then, in order to maintain it, I decided to manage it as an art gallery. I almost just didn't press. Are you managing this gallery by yourself? Yes. Well, I say manage, but it only opened today. And I must continue protecting this mansion, so that Monsieur Master has a place to return to. So, she took back the mansion for Mr. Master's sake. Kate, I'm so sorry. I was powerless. It's not your fault, Monsieur Shields. I couldn't do anything either. All I can do now is continue to protect the mansion. I collected Pierre Houquet's works from all over the world. Oh. Again, I nearly forgot to fucking press. Pierre Houquet. I never know how you say his name. That's Mr. Dover's alias, correct? Yes. It's the name he used when he worked as a sculptor in France. About collecting his works. How did you prepare the Taurus and Gemini sculptures? I heard that Mr. Dover passed away before he completed those two sculptures. Did she get help? I had the sculptures in the Winter Palace specially made, based on the photos I took. Oh! Could you please tell us about that in more detail? Okay, after all it was... okay. Collected Pierce... Sure. Opening the Zodiac Art Gallery was your dream. The truth is, I wanted to manage the gallery together with Monsieur Master. Oh, Christ. Ba ba ba. Singing and dancing and all kinds of sweets. That's the kind of gallery I dreamed about. Was she planning on staging a musical in here? Jeffrey Master disobeyed the Goddess of Law. It is unfortunate, but I'm afraid that your dream will never come to pass. No, Monsieur Master is... innocent. The prosecutor at the time did not believe it, but... in order to protect Catherine Hall, Jeffrey Master gave a false confession. They were both trying to protect each other. I prepared replicas of the sculptures in the Winter Palace based on the photos I took. Do I have anything I can use? Did I even read this? Melted. Traces of salt, sugar, and blood. That's all I can think to do. I still don't understand. Oh, hang on! Wait a minute. Sugar, salt, and blood. The blood doesn't really matter, it's the fact there's salt in it. Was that... wait, were they actually Dover's sculptures? Like, Dover's sculptures didn't actually melt? That's all I could think. Because his contained salt around the lyre. Whereas, it also had sugar as well. Did you really think that your excuses would continue to hold up? No matter how much you lie, you can't deny the composition of the sculptures. From the analysis results, it's quite clear that the sculptures in the Winter Palace are the sherbet sculptures Mr. Dover created. Oi, Miley, as a pharmacist, it's my turn to shine. What we call sugar actually comes in many different varieties and tests. Even if the sculptures were replicas, it's nearly impossible to replicate the composition. I see. Thank you for the explanation. Though I don't recall asking for one. Ah. That, Miss Hall, means you couldn't have melted the sherbet sculptures back then. You stole them, and preserved them for 18 years. Ah. What? She preserved the sherbet for 18 whole years? If you freeze it properly, it's not impossible. Silence, please. Miss Curator, what do you have to say? I can't believe you've already uncovered so much. So you're admitting that you stole the sherbet sculptures? No, I cannot admit to such a thing. There isn't any proof that I stole them after all. Also, I couldn't have stolen the sculptures 18 years ago. I don't think they would have been easy to steal without the police noticing. Is that so? I don't know what you did 18 years ago. As such, how can I judge how difficult it would have been to steal them? It looks like you won't give up so easily. I don't intend on giving up until I learn the truth. I understand. And I shall tell you what I did 18 years ago. So what I did 18 years ago. On the day of the incident, I was waiting in the main building until the judging. During the judging, at Monsieur Master's request, I went to change the film in the camera. But before I could deliver the camera to him, I discovered Monsieur Dover's body. After Monsieur Gregory arrived, I prepared tea for everyone involved in the investigation. It was then that I witnessed Mr. Gustavia entering Mr. Dover's room. And that was everything I had done on that day. I don't think there is anything suspicious about my actions. That's not your decision to make. Mr. Edgeworth, were there any contradictions in her testimony? For now, I should just prove that she stole the sculptures. But when could Miss Hall have stolen them? If I can answer that, her crime should come to light. Preparing tea, maybe? I'm trying to think, because all the other ones, it seems she was actually active in doing a duty. Whereas the tea, she could, you know, had the tea and then took it away somewhere. On the day of the incident, I was waiting in the main... Yeah. I keep reading them instead of just pressing. What were you doing before the judging began? I was in my room on the second floor, practicing my dancing. Oh yeah. I was performing on the TV show Piece of Cake back then. Piece of Cake? What kind of show was that? It was a children's program. The hosts made sweets while singing and dancing. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Well, that's unexpected. You knew about the show, Miles? But my father told me about it once, so I just happened to watch it a few times. So Miss Hall was practicing her dancing in her room. Could Miss Hall have stolen the sculptures then? It couldn't have been then. Oh right, so at the end of each statement I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's this time. It couldn't have been then. I should listen to more of her testimony. Okay. So you were the only one who could move freely during the judging period. I certainly would have had more freedom to move about than the contestants. However... I couldn't possibly have stolen the sculptures right in front of Monsieur Master. Moreover, upon being asked to change the film, I went directly to the entryway. At Mr. Master's request, she went to change the film in the camera. No. It couldn't have been then. I should listen to more of her testimony. Right, yeah. So, you entered Mr. Master's room before you delivered the camera. Yes, I heard the sound of something breaking, you see. Monsieur Master, are you in here? That was actually the sound of the ship breaking. Someone snuck a bite of it, you see. When the body was discovered, was Mr. Master still judging Mr. Gustavia's room? I'm sure that he was. Monsieur Master is the type of person who would carefully judge one room at a time. She found Mr. Dover's body inside Mr. Master's room. No. Couldn't have been then. I think it could have been then. What happened when we had the tea? It could have been hidden underneath the tablecloth. Wait a minute. If I remember rightly, I actually can't quite remember completely considering it's been a few days. Wasn't there something to do with the sauces? So like the tea was hot, the sauces were cut. Were they cold or were they heated? Because if they were chilled, then that could have actually been the time as to when it was stolen. and that's why they were chilled. That's my only idea. I can't think of any other time it would actually work. And hiding it under the tablecloth would have actually been a possibility. So did you do so in the same manner as today? Yes, I poured tea for everyone working on the investigation. Now that you mention it, Uncle Ray also got some tea from you that day. Kate was pushing her service cart back and forth, from the patio to the main building. I see. Did anything seem strange to you then? Well, I remember your old man singing praises of her Ceylon tea, and he also said something about how the saucer was I should have just pressed before I went on my tangent, but I was right! They were chilled. The saucer was chilled. Could Miss Hall have stolen the sculptures then? She stole them then. This was when you stole the sherbet sculptures. I'm sorry, but... Monsieur Shields and company were at the fountain patio the entire time. Are you saying that I stole them in broad daylight? That's precisely what I'm saying. This is where she hid the sculptures, to steal them right under their noses. It's pretty obvious. Underneath the tablecloth. Neither my father nor Mr. Shields realised the sculpture was right in front of them. What you were pushing around was no ordinary service cart. It was the sculpture itself. Overruled? But surely that would still be impossible. If she placed the sculptures on the service cart, people would notice immediately. I never said she used the service cart to move the sculptures. What do you mean? Then what did she use to move the sculptures around? This is what Miss Hall used to transport the sculptures. It could only be the lift trolley. Oh, there we go. The surface on of the platform's wet. But that's from 18 years ago, so that doesn't really matter, does it? Dover used this to carry his ice sculptures. Well, there you go. There's your answer. And this is... Oh, it was also in the room. This is the lift trolley Mr. Dover used 18 years ago to move his sherbet sculptures. Oh, I see what she did. She put the sculpture on the trolley, threw a tablecloth on it, and the teapot, the cups and everything. And then, yeah, she would have pushed it around and it would have just looked like the regular trolley. Or the cart. It seems this same lift trolley lies here in the fountain patio. That's because it was originally prepared for the contest in the first place. Are you saying she used the lift trolley to move the sculptures? Yes. Yeah, there we go. If the sculpture were placed on this lift trolley, and then covered with a tablecloth, it could be disguised as a service car and moved around, or moved without arousing suspicion. How could that be? So the saucers were chilled because they were sitting on an ice sculpture, or on the ice sculptures. Ah, Kate. What's the meaning of this? What were you thinking? That was truly impressive. We got it. You certainly are Monsieur Gregory's son. After 18 years, it's hard to imagine any proof that I stole these sculptures remained. But I knew it was only a matter of time until I was suspected. Miss Curator, does this mean you admit to stealing the sculptures? Yes, I admit it. 18 years ago I stole the sherbet sculptures from Monsieur Dover's room. It's just as Monsieur Edgeworth says, I disguised the lift trolley as a service cart. And I served tea as I made my way back and forth. That wasn't all, I also took the ice... Oh, the ice block with all the star clusters on it. An ice block with star clusters on it. That seems familiar. Yeah, it was there. A giant block of ice is being displayed here. It appears to be quite heavy. No, the inside must be hollow. The Winter Palace is a reproduction of Mr. Dover's room from 18 years ago. Because they had melted, my father never got the chance to see them. But those blocks of ice were also originally from Dover's Sherbet Salon. The two sculptures and the two blocks of ice, I took everything I could. And then I placed empty glass cases in Monsieur Dover's room. The sculptures were all encased in glass to preserve their fine details. But the ice blocks were being displayed as they were. As per the rules, we prepared the glass cases for Mr. Dover. So it would have been easy for her to prepare the glass cases. In Monsieur Dover's room, there were some sculptures that were still unfinished. I thought if I melted them, it would look like the ones I stole had melted too. So, everything you see in the Winter Palace are all original works from 18 years ago. Miss Hall, it didn't take much to get her to confess. Then she must know. She knows it isn't enough to try her in court. That's all I have to say. But, even though I admit to stealing the sculptures, you can't arrest me for it. What? What do you mean by that? Heavens! You're assisting an investigation without knowing this much? Perhaps you should read this book concerning the Statute of Limitations. Statute of Limitations? A book on the Statute of Limitations in criminal cases. To put it simply, doesn't it run out after, like, 5 or so years? Maybe longer. Oh god, hiccups. So, okay. So the Statute of Limitations, for murder it's 15 years, and theft it's 7 years, so it ran out 11 years ago. If the suspect flees to or lives in a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. If possible, accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached, then resumes. If charges are pressed to demand compensation, the statute is frozen, but for the length of that procedure. Huh, okay. Yeah, so we're probably just gonna say it ran out. It's the time frame in which a suspect can be taken to court. You can see it on this page. Oh, is it gonna show me anyway? Yeah. Of course. Oh well. The statute of limitations for murder is 15 years, and for theft it's 7 years. Ah! That's right. And Miss Hall's theft was 18 years ago. According to the statute, she cannot be arrested for stealing the sculptures. So that's how it is. Stealing evidence from a crime scene is an unforgivable offence. However, for this crime at least, we have no right to pass judgment. It appears that Prosecutor Edgeworth's tepid reasoning has all been for naught. I wonder about that. I deduced Miss Hall's action simply to expose a different crime. If she only took the sculptures, we wouldn't have found the body from 18 years ago. Bum 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 bum. Oh, she also moved the body! You saying that I hid Monsieur Dover's body? That's correct. But how can someone hide a body from 18 years ago? I would imagine it would be very difficult under normal circumstances. So you're saying the circumstances weren't normal? Are you claiming that you know where the body was hidden? When you consider Miss Hall's actions, the answer becomes obvious. 18 years ago, Miss Hall stole something more than just sherbet sculptures. If you're so confident, I would like to hear your answer. Where did Miss Hall hide the body? Right. Unless... I'm just looking at it to see. is the photograph of Mr. Dover's sculptures. Yes. And perhaps you've noticed that the victim's body can be seen in this picture. Hey, Duper Nation. Thanks for stopping by. If you're leaving right away, then it's fine. I hope you have a good day. I appreciate you stopping in. I do not see it. Please point it out clearly. I think I see it. When this picture can one see the body of the victim? It's trying to expose the location of the body in this photograph. I would have said that, but maybe it's... God, I don't know. I would have said it's the sculpture. Because it kind of looks like him. Or it could have been the cloaked one. It's hard to say. I'll just present here and see. It's either right or it's wrong. And apparently it's right. The Gemini sculpture. Yes. While it may look like the Gemini sculpture at first glance, in reality, this is none other than Isaac Dover himself. This ice sculpture was the victim's body? But all I can see from this picture is an ice sculpture statue. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to conceal it. Conceal it? Which piece of evidence did Miss Hall use to conceal the body? Oh, I see. Okay. This is the cloth that was covering the sculptures in the Autumn Palace. This cloth manipulates light. With it, it's entirely possible to make something look like ice. Isn't that right, Delicia? You see? When it glows red, it's like a raging inferno. When it glows blue, you can almost feel the glittering cool ice. Yes, thank you for that, at least. That cloth will only emit light when it is attached to a special device. Judge Courtney, look closely at the picture one more time. Beneath the Gemini case lies a box-shaped object attached to the pedestal. My goodness! Oh, no worries, dude. Have a good day. Have a good lunch. And thanks for stopping by. This is a rainbow light device. Detective Gumshoe reported one in the Winter Palace. This is the device that went missing 18 years ago. Originally, it would have been attached to the cloth inside the glass case. Naturally, Miss Hall took the device with her when she moved the sculptures. By using the rainbow light device to make the fluorescent cloth glow, Mr. Dover's body was made to look like an ice sculpture. That's ridiculous. So then, when Uncle Ray took a photo of the Winter Palace... That's right, the body had been in front of us all along, disguised as Gemini. However, the body and the fluorescent cloth were both discovered in the fountain. If the ice sculpture was the body, we would have found it in the Winter Palace. If we had found it there, her trick would have been revealed immediately. Miss Hall moved the body out of the Winter Palace to prevent us from discovering it. Absurd. You say she threw the body into the fountain without any of us noticing? No, Judge Courtney. There was no need for that. She simply used the same method as before. Remember the lift trolley? She moved the body to some other room and dumped it into the stream to the fountain. Naturally, the frozen body would have sunk to the bottom of the fountain. That's why the cloth floated up first and was found by Delicia. That makes sense as to why his body has not become goopy, as Kay put it. And eventually, the body thawed out and floated to the top, or floated to the surface. Oh, Jesus. Monsieur Edgeworth, you truly have a gift for deductive reasoning. However, do you have any proof that I moved the body? Yes, actually. The sketch of beauties. If you cannot prove that, then there is no way I can accept what you are saying. Wasn't there anyone who saw Miss Hall move the body? Yes, I believe such a person exists. The answer lies Or the answers lie in the evidence that person gave me. And that piece of evidence will reveal the truth of Miss Hall's actions. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you able to prove the crime of Miss Curator? Certainly. I have evidence that will show exactly what she did. Then it's time we see your answer. Which piece of evidence reveals a Miss Curator's actions? Sketchy beauties, because she has a red cloth. A blue cloth. Mm-hmm. What is this? Another sketch? Oh, it appears I have been drawn in this one. This is a sketch Larry drew of the women at the fountain patio. I would like to direct your attention to the service cart on the left side of the sketch. Service cart? What about it? Don't you see? What transpired 18 years ago has happened again. Miss Hall was moving the body in this sketch. No. Please, wait. I don't see Monsieur Dover's body anywhere in that drawing. All I did was hand out chocolates to everyone. The key detail in this sketch is the colour of the tablecloth. Up until now, I thought Larry had just made a mistake. It's actually the fluorescent cloth. The tablecloth, it's light blue. It may be light blue in the sketch, but no blue tablecloths exist in this mansion. Perhaps it's light blue because the body was hidden, still glowing, underneath the tablecloth. Oh, I see, okay. What? But the lift trolley is rectangular in the sketch. If she just placed the body in the lift trolley, we would notice it immediately. There were 2 blocks of ice in the Winter Palace that are completely hollowed out. If she put the body inside the block of ice, it would look like a service cart. That's... Miss Hall? You put the body in the block of ice and used the lift trolley to move it, didn't you? I never imagined you would be able to deduce so much from just a single sketch. But what if it was just a mistake, like you said before? It doesn't prove anything. I agree that alone the sketch is worthless. Once you remove the body, the service cart would revert back to a lift trolley. That's why the lift trolley was left behind in the fountain patio. And without the service cart, there would be no place for you to put your chocolates. The chocolates I gave everyone. Until then, the chocolates had sat on top of the service cart, as you gave them away. But when you gave them to us, you took them from your pocket. Ah, now that you mention it, they were a bit melted. But they were still really sweet and tasty. So why was it necessary to put them in your pocket halfway through? That's because once the body was disposed of, you no longer had a service cart. Ah! Hold it right there. If she put the chocolates in her pocket and left the lift trolley in the patio, then where did the tablecloth go? If she had been forced to put the chocolates in her pocket, she wouldn't have had time to dispose of the tablecloth. Prosecutor Edgeworth, can you answer that for me? The tablecloth wasn't hidden. It's right in front of us. She using it as like an apron. Do clarify. The tablecloth used to hide the body, where is it now? She has it with her. Isn't it obvious? Miss Hall is carrying it with her out in the open. It is! Yeah, waistcloth is more so what I meant, not apron. Out in the open? Ah, you mean... Miss Hall? You are wearing the tablecloth around your waist. Wait a minute, is that actually shown in the sketch? It isn't. I mean, I just guessed with that. It was fairly obvious. The block of ice was not encased in a glass case. In other words, the tablecloth was in direct contact with the block of ice. If we have it examined, we will undoubtedly find traces of sherbet on it. Miss Hall, you will turn your tablecloth over to the police at once. There's no need to examine the tablecloth. Well, she's going to admit. It's just as you say. I stole the poison from Madame Delicia, and I moved the body. Ah. I have done terrible things. Madame Delicia, I am so sorry. 1 week ago I took your Megatoxin X bottle. I slipped it into that man's pocket to make it look like suicide. If they suspected it was murder, the evidence would point to Madame Delicia. Katie! Kate, what were you thinking? Weren't we always trying to save Mr. Master together? I could not let myself be arrested. Not until I had proven Monsieur Master's innocence. From the very beginning, I had planned to turn myself in once everything was over. But I suppose it is too late to say that now. Kate, why? Why would you go this far? Even for Monsieur Shields, I've caused nothing but trouble. For the past 18 years, I have been a criminal. The IS-7 incident, don't tell me that you were the true culprit. My greatest crime was stealing the sherbet sculptures for my own selfish interests. When Monsieur Dover died, they were no longer just ordinary sculptures. They had become the final works of the sculptor Monsieur Master so deeply loved. What if they melted before Monsieur Master returned? With that in mind, I couldn't let anyone touch them, not even the police. Even though I knew it was wrong, I moved them to the mansion's freezer. However, I only wanted to preserve Monsieur Dover's art. I did not know his body was hidden among them. So she stole the sculptures without noticing the body. Monsieur Master would never take another person's life. But because of me, the body vanished, and Monsieur Master was found. Guilty. That kind man. He treated someone like me as family. He meant more to me than anyone else, and yet... Kate. When Monsieur Master was found guilty, I was chased out of this mansion. I was finally able to reclaim the mansion just a few days ago, but... when I saw the sculptures still sleeping away in the freezer, I realised that I was the one who hid Monsieur Dover's body. However, the statute of limitations had already expired. Therefore, I could think of no other way to atone for my sins. It appears I have misunderstood her. It seems she caused this entire incident in order to save Mr. Master. What are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? There is one thing that has been bothering me this whole time. Why would Miss Hall plan a murder with such an uncertain method like poison gas? And the reason she disguised the Autumn Palace to look like the Winter Palace was to make those involved in the incident 18 years ago confuse the two rooms. Wait a minute. I have a theory that she poisoned, like planted the trap inside the, was it Pisces sculpture? To make it, and also covered it up with a cloth to make it look like the Gemini statue, or sculpture. I'm going to use those words a lot. So that when the true person, the real murderer, tried to, I guess, remove the body from the sculpture, it would spring the trap and knock them out, exposing them. That's all I can think. And that's why she made the Autumn Palace look like the Winter Palace, because people from the IS-7 incident would think that the Autumn Palace was the Winter Palace, just like Ray did at the beginning of the case. Huh. That's my theory. Still don't know who it is. But it's a theory. I wonder what Kate was trying to accomplish. Because now that we know the body was hidden inside the sculpture, and it wasn't hidden by Kate... She was trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence. In that case, Miss Hall's true objective was... to find the true culprit. Perhaps she was trying to find the true culprit. Miss Hall, were you trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence? You wanted to reveal the true culprit and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Was that not your true goal? By displaying those sculptures, you'd attract those involved in the past incident. Only two people would know where the body was hidden, you and the true culprit. The culprit would have panicked, knowing that the body would be displayed publicly. Yes, and if the culprit really showed up, there's the risk they'd erase their tracks. In the worst case scenario, they might have even stolen the body. So, how could you protect the evidence whilst simultaneously luring in the culprit? I see. That's why she made the Autumn Palace look like the Winter Palace. Yes, and then, Miss Hall, you must have thought, whoever opens this Pisces case, believing it to be the Gemini case, must be the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Boom! I was spot on! Which means it's Gustavia. Oh. What? But that means... that person is the true culprit. Please, wait a moment. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you realise what you're saying? Do you intend to accuse that person of being the culprit behind the IS-7 incident? I do indeed. Miss Hall was trying to trap the true culprit. If so, wouldn't the person who fell for the trap be the true culprit? Why else would somebody just randomly open up a sculpture's case? However, I have no evidence to back up my claims. If I make a formal accusation without any proof, it will not end well. Should I announce the true killer of Isaac Dover? Yes. Make an accusation. What I should do is reveal the truth. In that case, there is no need to hesitate. Yes, that's correct. Judge Courtney. I indict this person as the true culprit behind the IS-7 incident. Can't believe it. Really? Dane Gustavia, who fell victim to the poison gas, is the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Gusty is... Mr. Gustavia. Miss Hall. Didn't you believe that if you opened this gallery, the true culprit would come? That's why you set up the poison gas trap, is it not? You truly have a gifted mind, just like your father. It is as you say, Monsieur Edgeworth. Now, would you please tell us the whole truth? Yes, I have nothing more to hide. I will tell you everything. I set a trap in the gallery to find the true culprit. Before the gallery opened, I left only the Autumn Palace unlocked. At opening time, when I went around to unlock each room, I discovered that the Autumn Palace had been locked from the inside. I knew that the true culprit was on the other side of the door. My hand was trembling. All that was left was the trap to do it, or was for the trap to do its work. When I heard Monsieur Gustavia was exposed to the poison gas, I realised he was the culprit. And then I thought that if the police discovered Monsieur Dover's body, it would prove Monsieur Master's innocence. Why didn't you ever come talk to me? There might have been another way. I know that you did everything you could for me over the past 18 years. However, all of this had been brought on by my own crime. That's why I wanted to save Monsieur Master as soon as possible. Kate. Not only that, the police hid the fact that the body went missing 18 years ago. Even if I reported the body, there was a chance that the truth would be hidden again. That's why I caused the incident at the museum's opening, with as many witnesses as possible. I'm sorry. Gregory, Mr. Master, and even you. I couldn't protect anyone. Mr. Shields. It must be tough on him as well. The one who should be apologising is me. Monsieur Edgeworth, Monsieur Shields. I'm terribly sorry. I shall accept whatever punishment I am given. However, I must ask of you, please clear Monsieur Master's name. The truth that was hidden for 18 years was revealed in an unexpected manner. However, to think that things would end this way. Ooh. Oh wow. To be continued. On to the end. Ba-ba. On to the final part. Woohoo! Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh, the music. It's all sad. Miss Hall, have you composed yourself? Yes. What you did, no matter the reason, was unforgivable. Yes, I know. However, you committed this crime in order to prove Mr. Master's innocence. If the true culprit is someone else, we have a duty to reinvestigate. No false evidence from the IS-7 incident remains in the official case files. Moreover, there is no evidence telling credence to Miss Hall's testimony. We should first arrest Miss Hall as the culprit behind today's incident. We cannot be certain that all the case files are accurate. After all, the prosecutor in the case has a history of forging evidence. He's suggesting that the PIC... Oh, person in command. Oh no, not person in command. It's the committee, or whatever. Overlooked such a prosecutor? That's none of my concern. The truth is that evidence was falsified. And the fact that Dover's body from 18 years ago was just discovered proves it. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I can see remnants of Prosecutor Von Karma within you. What did you say? You tried to deceive the PIC and fabricate the truth. Let me inform you of my... or rather, the PIC's logic. Oh, and how flawed it might be, you mean. PIC's logic. I acknowledge that Prosecutor Von Karma fabricated the information about the body. However, he successfully convicted Mr. Master as an accomplice. I believe that the true culprit was Miss Curator herself. She even attempted to murder Mr. Gustavia today, in order to pin the blame on him. My god, you're full of shit. Is that really what the PIC believes? Yes, every word I utter is for the sake of law and order. It seems she intends to hide the truth for the sake of the PIC. At this rate, neither Mr. Master nor Miss Hall will be saved. Right, time to rebuttal. Oh yeah! I still really want to get this to work. Hold it. Or don't. I really just want it to work. Hold it. It probably expects you to speak Japanese. Like the Japanese words for hold it. Oh well. Hold it! If you acknowledge that, why won't you reopen the case? The Goddess of Law does not err in her judgments. While Prosecutor Von Karma may have used underhanded tactics... Ooh, Ray! If you ask me, it's all been bogus ever since Von Karma fabricated evidence. And you claim that justice was served. What is the PIC thinking? I can already declare my verdict. There is no need for further investigation. Let's hear your explanation on the matter then. He didn't successfully get it though, he was essentially threatened. I heard that the biggest factor in Mr. Master's conviction was his confession. If Prosecutor Von Karma had a hand in his confession, the ruling may not be just. Of course. The initial investigation was handled by Detective Rip Lacer. He was the one who obtained the confession, according to the official reports. All I can say is that the ruling has already been handed down. Yeah, you don't say. Jeez, why does Miss Courtney have to be so stubborn? Is the PIC so high and mighty? They sure seem like the arch-enemy of prosecutors, to say the least. So they're kinda like what the police are to great thieves. Says the great thief who nonchalantly works alongside the police. You're saying that both Miss Hall and Mr. Master murdered Isaac Dover? Mr. Master committed the murder, or Miss Curator moved the body. That's what I believe. What? How can you say that? We would never kill Monsieur Dover. Oh. Did you not steal the body and preserve it for 18 years? It is only natural to suspect something. She's already confessed to her crimes, and now is not the time to judge her of her past crimes. In that case, let's judge Miss Hall for her current crime. Bum bum. Bum bum. Why would she want to frame him anyway? If she wanted to pin the crime on somebody, why choose Mr. Gustavia? And why go through such an elaborate, way of framing someone by poisoning them? Perhaps Mr. Gustavia suspected Miss Hall was a criminal. As he attempted to confirm whether or not the Gemini sculpture was genuine, he was caught in a trap meant to silence him forever. Can you prove that theory? Mr. Gustavia is currently teetering on the brink of death. There's probably no way to prove it, unless he regains consciousness. In other words, there is nothing we can do for now. That can't be true. There must be something we can do. You still don't get it, do you? Allow me to give you a clearer explanation. No. We already have ample evidence for both the IF-7 incident and today's poison gas incident. By ample evidence, you mean... For the IF-7 incident, we have a body, the murder weapon, and a pair of suspects. For the poison gas incident, we have the 2 chemicals and Miss Hall's confession. Furthermore, I have finished collecting all the evidence necessary. For your own POC hearing, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What? How can you say something like that so casually? Miles, you know you're always welcome to join the Edgeworth law offices. Judge Courtney, I'd like to ask that you refrain from making such needless remarks. I understand. Well, regardless. No need to investigate any further. You sure about that? Considering the fact we found salt, sugar, and blood in the liquid. I think there is need to investigate further. We also don't know who the blood of the Gemini... The blood in the Gemini sculpture, who that belonged to. I'm assuming it would be Dover. There's still one piece of evidence from the IS-7 incident that remains unsettled. Take a look at this. This is the forensic results from the Gemini sculpture that melted in the Winter Palace. According to the results of the analysis, traces of someone's blood were found. Who does the blood belong to? Until we know the answer, this case is still open. Oh! Bum 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 bum. There was blood mixed in with the remains of the Gemini sculpture? I heard nothing of this from Sebastian. This was a report from Detective Gumshoe. I had planned to tell Mr. De Best myself. So even though you have had no investigative authority, you still did as you please. I shall report everything that transpired today to the PIC. I will not avert my eyes from the truth, nor shall I overlook the mistakes of the past. If you wish to report my actions to the PIC, be my guest. But in exchange, I want you to let me investigate this case to the very end. It's not my place to decide such things. I must ask that you check with Sebastian regarding this matter. Of course, he's going to reappear. Hey, good news, you guys! Oh, God. He's alive! Thanks to our early detection, Mr. Gustavia's life was saved. Mr. Gustavia? So, he's alive. Would you be the ones who saved my life? Hey, Mr. Gustavia. You are... Sir Assistant, are you not? You've grown so big. This time... This one is your assistant, then. No, I'm... He's an assistant candidate, and Gregory Edgeworth's son. I am Miles Edgeworth, a prosecutor. What a twist of fate. I am in your debt. It's thanks to you that I have completely recovered. There's no need for thanks. Since you're alive, we can reach the truth behind the incident 18 years ago. What do you speak of? While you were unconscious, the truth has started to come to light. You may be Isaac Dover's murderer. Oh. What? Really? Miss Hall was looking for the criminal behind the events of 18 years ago. That's why she set up the poison gas in the Pisces case. Mr. Gustavia, the events of the incident 18 years ago. Tell us what really happened. So, you wish to remain silent? Nah, I think he's just meditating. He can sleep standing up? What a useful skill to have. Meditation is different from sleeping. Though. Just a bit. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us what you did 18 years ago. I'm the criminal because I fell for the trap. That's not a very funny joke. I'm a victim, not a culprit. Mr. Gustavia, it has not yet been made clear whether or not you are the criminal. This is only their baseless speculation. Do not concern yourself with the drivel of a prosecutor without jurisdiction. At least there is one person here who understands. My name is Justine Courtney. I am a judge. If you would like, I would be happy to assist you. Let us show Prosecutor Edgeworth the truth of 18 years ago. Understood. I shall prove my innocence to you, Sir Prosecutor. Oh man. Judge Courtney. Is that your answer? Do you intend to bury the truth of the IS-7 incident before it can be brought to light? I merely believe in the judgments of the Goddess of Law. Ultimately, those who render judgment are only human. As long as humans control the law, there is no guarantee that every verdict is correct. If you are going to help conceal the truth, I will not hold back. I'm looking forward to it. Lady Justine, what should I do now? You are being suspected because you set off the poison gas. Can you tell us the reason? Why you opened the Pisces case? Understood. I came to see Sedova's works from 18 years ago. However, I accidentally entered the museum a half hour before it opened. Miss Hall, there was nobody at the entrance, correct? Since I thought the criminal from 18 years ago might be coming. I had no security guards in place, I didn't even lock the doors. I was very busy with opening preparations, so there was nobody on the first floor. In addition, I locked every palace door aside from the autumn one. I see. This must have been done in order to lure the criminal to the Autumn Palace. Which is why he ended up entering the Autumn Palace. It's already suspicious that he snuck into the museum in the first place. The gallery should remain silent. Unless you have evidence that can prove his testimony false, I will not allow any objections. Gallery? This isn't even a courtroom. Now then. Why did you open the Pisces case? I wish to view Sedova's handiwork up close. The Gemini sculpture. No, it was actually the Pisces, wasn't it? The lid had been frozen shut, so I borrowed a burner to open it. But as soon as I opened the lid, the poison gas began pouring out, and it said spouting. That's quite a convenient testimony. Sounds like a total lie, doesn't it? There are parts of Mr. Gustavia's testimony that I have issues with as well. However, there is no evidence to disprove it. But that's... Would it not make sense for suspicion to fall on Lady Catherine before myself? She may have intended to release the poison gas haphazardly. Objection. Oh! Kate turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She was specifically targeting the person who triggered the trap. Mr. Gustavia, you were her only target. You are willing to accept the words of this criminal as the truth? Miss Hall must atone for her crimes. However, the same can be said for the criminal from 18 years ago. So, Prosecutor, it seems you wish to suspect me to the bitter end. However, I had no reason to murder Sadova. If there is no evidence to suggest that I killed him, you cannot suspect me. Mr. Edgeworth, can't you prove that Mr. Gustavia is a criminal? All we know for sure is that Mr. Gustavia fell victim to the poison gas. No matter how strange his behaviour was, it won't prove he committed the murder. But that's... Mr. Shields, is there nothing we can do? Well... if there isn't any evidence, we should try reorganising the facts. If Mr. Gustavia was the one who killed Mr. Dover, there must have been a motive. Motive? Okay, motive. Mr. Gustavia himself is denying that such a motive exists. Motive for the murder. Gustavia claims he had no motive to murder Dover. It's not easy to take another person's life. 18 years ago, your old man also discussed motive with Prosecutor von Karma. You claim their collaboration is irrelevant. If Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned sour... Oh, there we go. Partnership turned sour. Gustavia helped Dover with his final dessert, but Dover didn't help. Oh. It could serve as a motive for murder. We couldn't talk with Mr. Gustavia 18 years ago, but this time things are different. If we connect everything we've learnt so far, the truth might be revealed. Yeah, I suppose so. It seems I must re-examine the information from 18 years ago. I must recall all the details that have remained unexplained. Are we just getting a bunch of logic? So, the gloved finger marks on the picture frame was your doing? So Delicia denied leaving the finger marks on the frame. If they were left by Mr. Gustavia, he may have been trying to view the Angel's recipe. Was the Angel's recipe his goal? Was Gustavia's goal to view the Angel's recipe? Right, so Mr. Master asked me to change the film and the camera. It seemed the film he prepared in advance wasn't enough. There wasn't enough film? It seems the number of photos he took didn't match up with the amount of film remaining. Remaining film, the amount of film in the camera decreased. Did someone use it? Well, he told me himself it might have been just a mistake, though. The information my father collected 18 years ago was certainly not for naught. If there is no evidence, then I shall use logic to reveal the truth. Oh, there we go. Right, so motive for murder, partnership turned sour. And then the other two, I guess. So, Mr. Gustavia. You collaborated with the victim, Isaac Dover, to create your desserts, didn't you? Oh, it seems you know about my secret. Mr. Shields told me about it. Mr. Dover handled the design while you were in charge of the taste. Is that correct? Back then my training had been insufficient. It seems you worked together through the semi-finals, but not during the finals. Why is that? We both wish to compete in the finals against Sir Master on our own merits. You must have also helped with Isaac Dover's dessert even during the finals. What makes you able to declare something like that? Didn't you tell Prosecutor von Karma about it yourself, 18 years ago? That you cooperated until the day before the finals? The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room were all made out of sherbet. Such an amount would most likely need to be left overnight to freeze. Which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sherbet in advance the day before. That's right. So you realise Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals. Then why did Mr. Dover not help Miss Gustavia in return? The views of the dead are of no concern to me. Right. Why did Isaac Dover not help you in return? If there is a reason why your partnership with Isaac Dover broke down, that would be a motive for murder. Oh! That was like a gunshot. That could be a possibility. However, Sir Dover and I ended our partnership peacefully. A peaceful breakup. That's hard to imagine. Not to mention, it's absurd to think that I killed Sir Dover in Sir Master's room. I couldn't have killed Sir Dover while Sir Master was also there making his desserts. Timing a Dover's murder. Gustavia could not have murdered Dover while Master was in the room. Right, okay. In other words, there is no way I could have committed the murder. That's not true. If there was a moment when Mr. Master was absent from the room, I could prove that it was possible for Mr. Gustavia to commit the murder. Back to more logic. Right, so remaining film was Angel's Recipe his goal? Hey! If he had photographed the contents of the Angel's Recipe, he wouldn't need to steal it. Perhaps Mr. Gustavia used Mr. Master's camera to take the pictures. If he had stolen the actual recipe book, the police would have found out. I see, pictures, eh? The problem is the time at which he entered Mr. Master's room. Mr. Gustavia could have moved around freely during the afternoon tea, right? Because it seems both him and Mr. Dover did not participate in the afternoon tea. Afternoon tea, Dover and Gustavia did not participate in the afternoon tea. If I remember correctly, the only time we can prove that Dover was still alive is... the victim was not seen as he stayed locked up in his room after the contest had begun. The only one who could have unlocked the locked rooms was Jeff Masters. Or Jeff Master, even. Was Master's desserts all that you ate? Actually, no. After the afternoon tea, I also ate Icy's desserts. After the contest began, Isaac Dover was locked up in his room. If we assume he was killed at some point during... at some point before Delicia snuck into his room, then there is a high chance he was killed before the afternoon tea was over. There we go. Isaac Dover was alive up until the afternoon tea began. Ergo, that is the only time when Gustavia could have killed Dover. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you satisfied? Sorry, but I am far from satisfied. Because I am finally starting to see the truth behind this case. Are you saying you have found some evidence to show us the truth? Or that truth? There is no need to present any evidence, since we can just have Mr. Gustavia tell us the truth. Ah, so this is where you use that, right? Indeed. Mr. Gustavia, there is one thing I want you to tell me. I said, Mr. Gustavia, there is one thing I want you to tell me. What is it? During the finals of the contest, you made your desserts on your own. I wanted to compete for the title of the world's greatest pastry chef on my own merits. If that was truly the case, you could have competed on your own merits from the start. I want you to tell me why it was necessary for you to cooperate with Isaac Dover. Ah, wait. Oh, it's chess. Chess? Chess? Maybe chess. Oh yeah, chess. Logic chess. During the contest 18 years ago, Mr. Gustavia collaborated with Mr. Dover. I wonder, what made them decide to cooperate in the first place? That's what I need to draw out from him, but... Oh, wow, he has a rook, a bishop, a pawn, and a queen. He has a lot of stuff. It seems he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. Firstly, I'll ask about why he collaborated with Mr. Dover. The truth has been hidden for 18 years. That ends today. I really like the music for Logic Chess. Why did you collaborate with Mr. Dover? Why did you decide to collaborate with Isaac Dover? Sir Dover and I were already acquaintances, even before the contest began. Since he was interested in the contest, we simply decided to enter it together. Huh. Joining forces with a sculptor. You weren't confident in your own abilities. You know nothing about me. We wanted to make great work together. Wait and see. Sir Dover's son and my own attended the same elementary school. We all got along well from the start. Really? So, were you going to share the title of World's Greatest Pastry Chef together? Wake up! Oh! Huh. As expected, he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. Mr. Dover was a sculptor. I doubt he had any interest in the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. In that case, where did his true goal lie? Oh, there's one piece down. That was easy. Yeah, that was pretty simple. Indeed, my goal was the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. However, Sir Dover's goal was the grand prize, the Angel's Recipe. I see. You cooperated because your interests were aligned. Well, there must have been a reason why your partnership soured. Oh, pardon me. Sir Prosecutor, I am the victim of a poisoning. If you're going to suspect me in this manner, perhaps I'd better return to the infirmary. Wait a moment. In that case, you should end things soon. I'm not a patient man. It seems he's trying to leave. I can't let that happen. He's still hiding something. Next I should ask him about his true goal. Hey, I got more time back. I need to keep the pressure on him, while being cautious of the time. Oh god. Did you have another goal besides the title? Didn't you have another goal besides the title? The title alone doesn't seem to have much value. How dare the likes of you insult the title of a confectionery artist? My only goal was the title itself. I had no interest in anything else. My dream was to become the world's greatest pastry chef. No. It would be impossible with your skills. Jeez. 18 years ago, I was lacking in design sense. However, things are different now. Oh? Are you saying you have improved at your craft? Exactly, for I have trained at the Republic of Zengfar. Okay. Yes. At the time, I also studied Mr. Master's works. I would often watch his show with my son. So, you were studying Mr. Master's works to improve your own skills. If you had his recipes, perhaps it would have been easier for you to become the world's greatest. Perhaps. To a pastry chef, Sir Master's recipes were worth their weight in gold. You weren't interested in his recipes. If becoming the world's greatest pastry chef was your goal, you should have also been interested in the grand prize, the Angel's Recipe. But he wasn't. Ah, the recipes of the world's greatest pastry chef. I also don't know why the hell that thing pops like a balloon. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't interested. However, I wouldn't think that simply being interested would be a problem. I wonder about that. The Angel's Recipe's true nature was not for making desserts, but cures. And all of the contest participants should have been aware of that. Looks like I'm getting close. He isn't meditating anymore. Now to slowly but surely drive him into a corner. Next, I'll ask what he planned to use the recipe book for. Did you intend to make desserts with it? Yeah, did you intend to win the Angel's Recipe and use it to make desserts? Of course. If I obtained the Angel's Recipe, I was going to use it in my training. I hear the Angel's Recipe was worth a lot of money. I don't know the exact details, but that recipe book was much too valuable to be sold. You seem to know a lot about the book. You seem to know quite a lot about the Angel's recipe. It was explained to all the contestant participants at the beginning of the contest. In that case, you must know about the recipe book's true nature. That it was not a recipe book for desserts after all. Not at all. Impressive, Sir Prosecutor. So, you know the true nature of the Angel's recipe. The Angel's recipe. Some have called it the ultimate recipe book. It contained formulas for new medicines that were not yet on the market. He knew the recipes were actually formulas for new medicines. This could be a useful clue. Did you know the recipe book's value? The Angel's recipe. Did you know its true value? Silly question. It contains Sir Master's best dessert recipes. Any pastry chef worth their salt would want it. Looks like that clue will come in handy. You know what the recipes actually are. You may have studied design in Zengfar. However, your skills in lying could use more work. You just said earlier that the Angel's recipe contained formulas for medicines. You weren't interested in desserts. You wanted the medicine formulas. Ooh, did you need new medicine? Oh, this is going to destroy the rook. Now, why would a pastry chef such as yourself be so interested in medicine? Perhaps what you were really after was the information about the new medicine. Ooh, I've underestimated you, Sir Prosecutor. Yes. My goal was more than just the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. At the time my son was ill, I needed the recipe for medicine. Your son was ill? Tell me more about that. To protect my son's honour, I can say no more. Judging by the worried look on his face, I must have struck a nerve. Next, I need him to tell me more about his son's illness. Right. This is it. This will be my final move of the game. What was your son like? What kind of person was your son? Ah, my boy. He loved the desserts I made. Did you enter the contest solely for your son? Sir Prosecutor, you could never understand. The feelings a father has for his son. I wanted nothing more than to cure my boy's illness. Until the semi-finals, my son would always drop by the contest venue to play. Is that so? Wouldn't he get in your way? I doubt you had time to care for your son while you were challenging Mr. Master. That may be so, but I wanted to grant my son's wish. He said he always wanted to be the first to eat my desserts. Your son sounds pretty healthy to me. How about your son? If he was so sick, wouldn't it be difficult for him to come and play with you? My son's illness, it wasn't life-threatening. That might serve as a clue. Did the recipe book have the only cure? Did the Angel's recipe have the only cure? Yes. Though the medicine is being sold everywhere now. At the time, the recipe book was my one and only option. That's why I continued making my desserts, without joining the others for tea time. So you weren't interested in what Mr. Master was making? You sure seem confident in your chances of winning. I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the other contestants' desserts. You had interest in Mr. Master's works. You just said earlier that you studied Mr. Master's works. In addition, if your goal was to win the contest in order to get the medicine formula, you must have been curious about the other contestants' entries as well. There was time to sample the other desserts during the contest, but none of their entries had any flavour. So I didn't want to eat any of it. I suspect I may have been a bit nervous as well. So everything he ate tasted flavourless. This could be a useful clue. What was the name of the illness? What was the name of your son's illness? So, Prosecutor, how insensitive of you. My son was seriously ill. I will not be discussing this with the likes of you. Looks like that clue will come in handy. But the illness wasn't life-threatening. You told me your son's illness was not life-threatening. Is there really a need to be so secretive about it? It was enough to keep him from living a normal life. That must have been difficult for your son. I tried everything I could to cure his illness. It wasn't fair for the poor boy. He could never taste the desserts he loved so much. Was he too fat? Wow, was it a taste disorder? The Angel's recipe contains a cure for a certain illness. A remedy that could also cure Mr. Master's taste disorder. What? He had it too? He had it too? I see. So your son suffers from a taste disorder. I didn't think you'd figure it out so quickly. In order to cure your son's taste disorder, you needed the recipe book. Wasn't that your true goal? It is as you say. Based on how he's acted up until now, it appears he is still hiding something. Looks like that clue will come in handy. Didn't you also have the illness? Being unable to taste anything regardless of what you eat. Such a bitter illness. But that reminds me, didn't you say something similar earlier? None of their entries had any flavour, so I didn't feel like eating any of it. Wasn't it? Perhaps your son wasn't the only one who suffered from a taste disorder. Ooh. It's hard to imagine being a successful pastry chef without a sense of taste. Perhaps what you really wanted was to cure yourself. That's completely ludicrous. 18 years ago, I made those desserts all by myself. Didn't you collaborate with Mr. Dover? Huh. It seems you've caught yourself in a contradiction. Didn't you cooperate with Isaac Dover in the contest? You can hardly say you made the desserts all by yourself. Oh! No! You must take great pride in your abilities as a pastry chef. But to betray your pride in cooperation with another contestant. You did it all to cure your own disease. Well done, Sir Prosecutor. It is as you say. The one with the taste disorder is not my son. It is I. No one knew. I've kept it a secret for 18 years. It doesn't matter how long a secret is kept. If you lie before me, I will expose it. Dane Gustavia and Isaac Dover were both trying to obtain the recipes for the new medicines. Gustavia to cure his condition, and Dover most likely to sell the recipe book for money. For this reason, they entered the contestant as a collaborative effort. And with that... checkmate. Oh! Very nice. Woohoo! Oh, pardon me. I have never told this to anyone. Well done. I need a drink. It's as you say. I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago. Taste disorder? Trying to open the bottle quietly. It was a severe disorder. I was unable to discern any flavour at all. It's the one illness a pastry chef dreads above all. Those symptoms sound a bit different from Mr. Master's taste disorder. He can't taste salt. Mr. Master's condition is known as hypogeusia. It simply causes a decreased sensitivity to certain specific flavours. I'm sure it has caused Sir Master much pain too. After all, no medication was available to cure it 18 years ago. In order to cure your taste disorder, you would need Mr. Master's Angel's recipe. And that's why you entered the contest. Am I correct? That was one of my goals. I still had my sights set on the title of World's Greatest. When it comes to making desserts, I won't lose to anyone. Even without the ability to taste, I still have the utmost confidence in my flavours. Oh? So I presume you also prepared your desserts in the finals with the intent to win? That goes without saying. According to what Mr. Shields told us earlier, the evaluation of Mr. Gustavia's entry was... Up until the semi-finals, Mr. Gustavia's flavours and designs were to my liking. Unfortunately, both the taste and appearance of his final entry left much to be desired. It seems the dessert you made for the final was not rated highly in regards to flavour. Mr. Gustavia, you will tell us about how you made your dessert during the finals. Very well. My god. It seems I must teach you upstarts a lesson. Dessert for the final. Sedova and I cooperated until the finals. I handled the flavour, he was in charge of the design. However, for the finals, I wanted to challenge Sir Master with my own skills. I helped Sedova make his entry, but I made mine completely on my own. If the flavour of my entry, God, wasn't good enough, my own lack of training was to blame. How about that, Sir Prosecutor? This is the truth of 18 years ago. I can't find any contradictions in his testimony. Well, of course he isn't going to fess up that easily. This guy's been on the run for 18 years, after all. Guess we'll just have to keep on pressing him until he breaks, eh? Yes. Oh, goody! So Mr. Dover took care of the design, while you handled the flavour. Sir Dover was a sculptor by trade. His sense of design was splendid. But he was just an amateur chef. We combined our strengths by working together. You never did have much design sense, did you, Mr. Gustavia? Oh great, we're getting to watch this again. It's a bird! What do you think of this? That's a symbol of Zangfar. Wow, a phoenix. That is really good. Wow, you really have improved these past 18 years. Behold the fruits of my 18 years of training. I've put my life and limb on the line for my dessert skills. It's true that I cooperated with Serdova 18 years ago, up until the finals. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. So, you were really serious about the title of World's Greatest Pastry Chef? Yes, confectionery is my life. Naturally, I wanted to be the world's greatest. But back then I was still inexperienced, and I was no match for the better chef. But your goal was also to obtain the angel's recipe, right? Wouldn't the recipe book be worth more to you than the title? Okay. I will not stand by and watch you badger a convalescent man like this. My gavel shall protect you, Mr. Gustavia. I realise he's still recuperating, but... Mr. Gustavia, do not yield to this devilish prosecutor. Now then, please, continue with your testimony. Jesus. So you helped Mr. Dover with his dessert, but made yours all by yourself. No matter how you look at it, this seems odd. Why didn't Mr. Dover assist you? Bum 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 bum. It matters not how it seems, it's the truth. I do not know what Sir Dover was thinking. It's hard to prove if someone is lying about something that happened 18 years ago. Hey Kay, does your secret weapon also work as a lie detector? If it did, I'd have already stolen Mr. Edward's spotlights. There's no need for that, I will expose this man's lies myself. Dane Gustavia, please continue with your testimony. Bum bum bum. The flavour of my entry wasn't good enough, his own like a trainee was to blame. Up until the finals, I heard that you received high praise for the flavour of your desserts. Was there some sort of accident during the finals? Nothing of the sort. I simply was unable to taste my work due to my taste disorder. My intuition must have been off. That's all. Then, was your intuition fine while making Mr. Dover's entry? How could there be such a huge difference between the finals and the previous day? We're not getting anywhere at this rate. Should I change the topic? Oh god. Ask about the semi-finals. Yeah, sure. So, you're sure there wasn't anything different between the semi-finals and the finals? Yes. That's right. Aside from not cooperating with Sir Dover, the finals weren't much different from the semi-finals. Except... his son didn't show up, did he? Always came to visit up until the finals. That's the difference. Oh, which is why the taste wasn't up to snuff, because his son didn't taste it. Okay. There was another difference between the semi-finals and finals. This photo depicts your son. We know he came to visit you up until the finals. That is correct. What does that have to do with anything? Your son, who always came to see you through the semi-finals, was not present for the finals. And then, it was only in the finals that your flavour judged poorly. I don't believe this to be a mere coincidence. Your son's visits must have been very important to you, were they not? A father can work miracles when his son is watching. With my son cheering me on, I was able to make the most delicious desserts. Miss Gustavia sure sounds like a good father, doesn't he? If what he's saying is the whole truth, one could say so. But just hearing his son's cheers wouldn't be enough to change the taste of his desserts. A confectioner, confident in his sense of taste, develops a taste disorder. It would have been difficult for him to maintain the taste of his desserts. Your son came to cheer you on. Was that really all he did? You seem very doubtful, Sir Prosecutor. In that case, I'll turn this around and ask you. What else could my elementary school son have done besides cheer me on? Tasted your desserts. He made them for you. I'm sure your elementary school son would have remembered the taste of your desserts. Of course, my son always loved my desserts. In that case, he would have been able to test your desserts in your place. What did you say? Earlier you told us that you have a taste disorder. I've never told this to anyone. Well done. As you say, I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago. Oh, pardon me. No one else knew about your taste disorder. If Mr. Dover had found out, he would have ended your partnership. After all, you were in charge of the flavour. Your son didn't just cheer you on. He also helped you determine if your desserts tasted correct. No! Ah, I see. Mr. Dover's desserts was made the day before, so it still tasted good. Okay, so what you were saying is quite amusing, Sir Prosecutor. You say that my elementary school son assisted me as a taste tester. You are insulting my pride. Your pride? It's true, I had no sense of design 18 years ago. However, I won't lose to anyone when it comes to flavour. You claim I would cast aside my pride and rely on my son? Don't get carried away with your foolish conjecture, you upstart. Oof. In that case, I'm sure your son can confirm if my theory is mere conjecture. Unfortunately for you, I no longer have a son. Eh? What? After my taste disorder was cured, I went to train in Zhengfa immediately. During that time, I severed all ties with my son. What? Don't tell me. You would even abandon your own son. That's not all. Even today, the whereabouts of his son are still unknown. The police have been searching, but they haven't been able to find any traces of him. You wish to confirm your theory? I welcome you to try. Desserts are the only things that are important to me. After regaining my sense of taste, my tongue no longer mattered. Wow! Order in the court. Mr. Gustavia's actions are certainly inhumane. However, we are not here to judge whether or not he is a good father. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I believe this is your loss. After all, there is no evidence left from 18 years ago that could prove your theories. There is, actually. Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do? At this rate, we'll never find out the truth. Detective Gumshoe, where are those results? Oh yeah. I wonder whose blood it could have been. I've asked forensics to look into it, sir. Right, I'll leave it to you, Detective. I entrusted Detective Gumshoe with the last piece of evidence. If only I knew who that blood belonged to. Miles, there's still one thing that's bothering Uncle Ray. Was Mr. Gustavia's only reason for coming to the art gallery to check on the body? If he only wanted to confirm the body's presence, he wouldn't have needed to open the case. That's right. Is there a way we can prove this? There is one way, we just need that evidence from Detective Gumshoe. Prosecutor Edgeworth? What are you talking about? Mr. Edgeworth, sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Oh, finally. Huh. Just the person I was talking about. Detective Gumshoe, I trust you have the test results? Of course, sir. I just got the report back from the lab. Detective, please be silent. Sir, this is the evidence that Prosecutor Edgeworth was talking about. Huh? Hey, where's this? Oh, what's this? This is the first I've heard of it. This was a request from me. I asked him to investigate a certain piece of evidence. Why is everyone always helping you out? I'm the one in charge of the crime scene. Mr. DeBest, I apologise for taking matters into my own hands, but how about we hear this report first? Sure. Detective Gumshoe, what were the results? Here's the report, sir. The traces of blood found in the Gemini sculpture belong to... the victim of the poison gas, Dane Gustavia. What are you saying? Good work, Detective Gumshoe. As I thought, my theory was correct. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? We too would like an explanation. What on earth does this blood prove? This blood is something that the culprit of the IS-7 incident tried to conceal. It can't be. This blood was found inside the glass case of the Gemini sculpture. In other words, your blood was found alongside Mr. Dover's body. Why would Mr. Gustavia's blood be in a place like that? If you intend to remain silent, then I'll reveal the truth myself. In the Gemini case, aside from the blood, we also found traces of salt and sugar. Salt and blood. And only one of Mr. Dover's sherbet desserts tasted salty. Come to think of it, I remember Miss Delicious saying the same thing 18 years ago. Oh yes, his sherbet was most delicious. Really? I wish I could have eaten some too. But there was one piece that was so salty I couldn't eat it. Salty? It's right here in this photo. It was part of that lyre. That's the lyre from the Gemini constellation. Exactly. For some reason, salt had been mixed into the lyre. No other traces of salt were found in Nova's room. In that case, please explain. Where did the salt detector in the lyre come from? Oh! Salt. I never even thought that they would have a taste. This is the rock salt lamp used as the murder weapon in the IS-7 incident. I believe part of this rock salt lamp was mixed in with the sherbet from the lyre. At the time of the murder, there were 2 rock salt lamps in Mr. Master's room. One of those lamps took Mr. Dover's life. We know that Mr. Dover's blood was left behind on the murderous lamp. However, there were no traces of anyone's blood found at the crime scene, Mr. Master's room, because the killer disposed all of the desserts with traces of blood into the streams of water, right? No other traces of salt were found in Mr. Dover's room. Speaking of which, weren't the 2 rock salt lamps found in Miss Delicious's room also broken? Looks like both the lamps in the pillars are broken. Both of their light bulbs are broken. Maybe they were dropped on the floor. We never did figure out why the other rock salt lamp was broken. Maybe Mr. Gustavia's blood was on the other lamp. Ah! If your blood was found on the lamps at the crime scene, you would have been suspected. As the culprit, you would have needed to conceal all traces of your blood from the police. Don't tell me how he concealed it in the sherbet liar. Exactly. The rock salt lamp and his blood were mixed into the sherbet liar and hidden inside the glass case. Unlike the fountain's water, the sherbet desserts would not be analysed right away. Perhaps he had planned to dispose of the sherbet when the opportunity presented itself. But then, the reason Mr. Gustavia came to this gallery 18 years ago, the body and the evidence pointing to the killer were both stolen. Even the killer could not have anticipated that. There was no way of knowing when the body and the evidence would be discovered. So, he planned to destroy the evidence before the Zodiac Art Gallery's grand opening. Then Gustavia, isn't it about time you confessed? You are the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Monsieur Gustavia, you're the reason Monsieur Master is... Oh my. Mr. Gustavia? Could it be? After all this time, my crime is finally brought to light. The prosecutors and defense attorneys, 18 years ago, never even came close. Bravo, bravo! Well done, Sir Prosecutor. So you admit that you killed Mr. Dover? It is true. I killed Isaac Dover. But he had only himself to blame. What do you mean? Dover and I worked together in order to win the contest. No matter who won, we agreed that we'd share the Angel's recipe. But, on the day of the finals, he stabbed me in the back. Sir Dover, this isn't what we agreed to. I'm sorry, Gustavia. The deal is off. What? But I made your desserts for you. I'm the reason you got this far. And what of it? Can you prove that you assisted me in any way? Dover, you were planning to betray me all along. Because of Dover's treachery, I was forced to make my finals entry on my own. It's just as Sir Prosecutor said, my son assisted me every day until the finals. What about your pride as a confectionery artist? A proud chef loses the ability to taste his own creations. That's a feeling an upstart like you would never understand. Mastering the art of dessert making is my reason for being. It is my one and only pride. Committing murder for the sake of pride. That's another feeling I will never understand. To say nothing of abandoning your own son, such a thought disgusts me. Before you judge me, first understand what happened 18 years ago. On the day of the finals, my son never came to assist me. Thinking back on it now, I suppose Dover had a hand in that as well. Huh. What exactly happened to your son? I do not know, but it no longer matters. Ever since that day, my son meant nothing to me. From what I hear, he's still missing. That's awful. Giving up on him like that. Without your son, you had no chance of winning, correct? Yes, and since I was guaranteed to lose, I needed a failsafe. During the afternoon tea time, I made my way to Sir Master's room. I just needed to take a photo of the cure to my taste disorder. It would have all worked out. If only Dover hadn't interfered. Huh? Oh. Ah, Gustavia. Trying to steal a picture of my prize, are you? That hardly seems sporting. You... Cure for taste disorders? Oh-ho, you have a taste disorder, don't you? Ah, this is rich. A pastry chef who can't taste. Dover, you... Puny worm. You are in no position to oppose me. Why you... Oh. When I attempted to hit Dover, he struck me and sent me flying. I crashed into one of the rock salt lamps, and that was when my blood stained on it. So Mr. Dover wasn't the first one to be injured. To conceal my blood, I shaved away part of the rock lamp and mixed it into the sherbet. After that, it became a part of the liar sculpture. So, that's how you try to erase your traces from the crime scene. Dover tried to blackmail me by using his knowledge of my taste disorder. If I didn't want it to become public, I was to pay him a large sum. So that's the reason why you killed Isaac Dover. Exactly. What reason do I have to let those who have struck me live? He was the one who drew first blood. I simply gave him his just desserts. So that was his motive. I carried the rock salt lamp that bore my blood into Dover's room. Then I came up with a hiding place where it would not be easily found. I get it. That room contained plenty of tools for sculpting sherbet. Your deduction is spot on, Sir Attorney. It was the ideal place to shave away rock salt. I then proceeded to coat the surface of the sherbet layer with vast amounts of the salty mixture. Why? Why did you try to pin the crime on Monsieur Master? You're wrong to blame me for that, Lady Catherine. If not for your unnecessary meddling, Sir Master would never have been a suspect. Why do you think I hid the murder weapon and the fluorescent cloth in Lady Delicia's room? There's only one reason why you'd place a murder weapon in someone else's room. You wanted to pin the crime on Delicia. Oh, it's her foot that catches it. Me? Yes, that is correct. Gusty, why? Why me? As one who sought to be the world's best confectioner, I greatly respected Sir Master. It was never my intention to cast suspicion on him. But an insolent woman who dared to sully the contest with fake desserts, I had no problem letting you, or letting someone like you, take the blame for the crime. That makes me sad. What a response. If you hadn't snacked on other people's desserts, the body would never have been found. It was when Sir Master would be judging Lady Delicia's room, that's when I finally saw an opportunity to freeze the body, but before I could move the body, Lady Catherine had already discovered it. Why did you need to freeze Monsieur Dover's body? Why indeed? Monsieur Edgeworth, please tell us. Why would Monsieur Gustavia have needed to freeze the body? To throw off the time of death. Miss Gustavia intended to freeze the body in order to throw off the time of death. If the time of death had coincided with the tea party, Miss Gustavia would have been suspected. That is correct. Preparations were necessary to freeze the body. While I was preparing in Dover's room, I placed the body in the treasure chest in Sir Master's room. I could think of no better hiding place at that time. But thanks to that gluttonous pharmacist, the lid of the chest broke. But why did you disguise him as an ice sculpture? Once the body was discovered, there would be no time to throw off the time of death. To buy time, you needed to hide it someplace safe, or someplace else. How horrid! How could you hide Monsieur Dover's body within one of his own works? It all would have worked out if the body hadn't been discovered while it was in Sir Master's room. If everything had gone according to plan, Sir Master would never have been arrested. So because I discovered the body, it's my fault Monsieur Master was... Kate, don't take his words to heart. Even if suspicion hadn't fallen on Mr. Master, Miss Delicious would have taken the fall. No matter who he targeted, the one at fault here is Mr. Gustavia himself. The detective in charge of the initial investigation was also a dunce. To think that he never reported the missing body to the prosecutor. Prosecutor von Karma indicted Mr. Master without knowing the body had vanished. I see. That would explain why he looked so flustered at the crime scene. Although, it's something that would stand out if you read the official documents. Could someone have intentionally distorted the information? At any rate, Von Karma found out about the missing body after he had made his indictment. And if he had let one person be acquitted, he'd have a stain on his much prided perfect record. That's why he concealed the fact that the body was hidden, and had Mr. Master declared guilty. What are you saying? For 18 years, that man has taken the blame for your crimes. Don't you feel anything at all? I don't care what you say. What a monster! I'm arresting him right here, right now, sir. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that will be impossible. So, you figured it out. That's correct. You have no right to sentence me. What? But the culprit is standing right in front of us. Allow me to tell you the reason why you can't arrest me. Oh. Why you can't arrest me. It's been 18 years since I murdered Dover. The statute of limitations for the murder in this country is 15 years, is it not? In other words, it's impossible for you to arrest me. I only confessed my crime because the statute of limitations had expired. Had it though? The statute of limitations is 15 years. Yes, in this country, but in the book it even explicitly states if the suspect leaves the country, the statute of limitations is put on hold or is frozen, whatever term you want to use, until they step foot back into the country. So if he was gone from the country for, I don't know, if it was longer than 3 years, then he's still under the statute of limitations. Ha! He's fucked. Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do? As long as the statute of limitations remains, arresting him is impossible. Not true. No way. My sincerest apologies, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Neither Mr. Gustavia's testimony nor your logic can be taken as official legal proof. The verdict of the trial 18 years ago cannot be overturned. Huh? What about the fact that Mr. Dover's body was hidden? Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gustavia, this should at least earn Mr. Master a retrial. Really? I wonder about that. Overturning a verdict of the Goddess of Law is much harder than you think. Is the PIC trying to justify the verdict from 18 years ago? How unfortunate, Sir Prosecutor. Is there nothing I can do? Is there no way to continue pursuing Mr. Gustavia? Oh, there is. God, it's so simple. No matter how many years have passed, your sin will never fade. So, Prosecutor, I'm sure you must have realised by now. There's no way you can arrest me. Arresting you would be a piece of cake for someone like Mr. Edgeworth. Isn't that right, sir? I don't think it will be that simple. It's impossible for you to arrest me. Statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. It's possible that some of your actions 18 years ago were not affected by the statute. It's been so long, I've got nothing left to hide. Ask me anything you'd like. Very well. Could you explain to me what you did during these past 18 years? Certainly. After the contest, the medicine from the recipe book allowed me to fully cure my taste disorder. I then immediately headed to Singfa to train my design skills. So he wasn't seen ever since that case because he was in a foreign country. Indeed. And I'm certain that I went abroad to train. About 1 year after that case, right before Sir Master's final trial began. And thanks to my training, I am now a confectioner unparalleled in both taste and design. You should not be proud of a position earned through the sacrifices of others. You can't bake a cake without breaking a few eggs. Sacrifices were necessary for my goal. That's horrible. Say what you will. The fact still remains that you cannot arrest me. I have to get more information out of Mr. Gustavia. Was there anything of note in his recent testimony? His training in Zhengfa. Could you please add the details about your training in Zhengfa to your testimony? Certainly. And there, boom. Afterwards I trained in Zhengfa to become the world's best confectioner. And you have proved your undoing. That's not what I wanted. One of the conditions regarding the statute of limitations for murder is as follows. If the suspect flees to a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. So the statute of limitations was suspended while you were overseas. That's right, the statute of limitations stopped while you were training in Zengfar. The question is, how long was he there for? Indeed, it's possible that the statute of limitations has not expired yet. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us how long you stayed in Zengfar. Uh-oh. It would be exactly 3 years. You watch, it runs out. 3 years, wait. Let's calmly think this over. The case occurred 18 years ago. The statute of limitations is 15 years, and he was away for 3. 15 plus 3 is exactly 18 years. I'm sure of it. Really? Sir Edgeworth, we did it. The statute of limitations hadn't expired yet. Oh. Exactly 18 years, you say? How amusing. So, he realised. Why are you laughing? The statute of limitations still applies. Okay, it's frustrating, but the case occurred in December. It's April now, which means it's 4 months past. Strictly speaking, the case occurred 18 years and 4 months ago. Fuck. His stay abroad wasn't quite enough. We were just a few months short. Not enough. That's... Like I said, it's impossible for you to arrest me. He must have known all about this when he confessed to his crime. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it really is a shame. If it was just 1 year earlier, the statute of limitations would not have run out. Those who undermine the goddess of law, or law's verdict, must bear the burden of their crimes. It seems you are simply incapable. Oof. Wow. This can't be the end. So, Monsieur Gustavia really is beyond the law's reach. Kate, what are you thinking?
Objection!
Hey! If you're thinking of taking matters into your own hands, I implore you to reconsider. There still might be a way to bring this man to justice. What? Miles, remember the facts of the case 18 years ago. Just as you were mistaken earlier, it seems Mr. Gustavia has also overlooked one key detail. Overlooked? He wasn't present during Mr. Messer's final trial. So he doesn't know the outcome of the trial. There may yet be a way for you to arrest him. Miles, look over that book on the statute of limitations again. 17 years ago, Messer was falsely declared guilty for a serious crime. Thanks to that verdict, we aren't out of ammunition just yet. Mr. Shields, you don't mean... I really want to have a look at what he means. So... Oh! If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached and then resumed. So it would appear he still has time. I think. I also never read this, did I? I don't think so. Right, so... Right, okay. Suspect data Jeffrey Master... Oh, there it is! After his killing confession, he was convicted as an accomplice, so we could pin it as he was an accomplice to Gustavia. His victim body vanished, there appears to be no autopsy report, is that the true reason? Alright, oh yeah, whoops. Those who undermine the Goddess of Law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. I am Mr. Master's attorney. I can't use his suffering as a weapon in good conscience. For that reason, I'll leave the rest up to you. Alright. The trial my father and Von Karma battled over. Can I use that to arrest Mr. Gustavia? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Of course. Oh! Oh! Oh, I was waiting for him to point. My father and Von Karma, their paths diverged. One revealed the truth, the other concealed it. The path that I choose is the one that reveals the truth. I see no further reason to prolong this trial. I hereby find Dane Gustavia not guilty. Yeah, fuck yourself and your stupid verdicts. Overruled. Gustavia will stand in court for his crimes. Do you mean to say you have found a way to arrest Mr. Gustavia? Exactly. I'll show Judge Courtney the evidence that will shatter the statute of limitations. Amos, it's under this.
Take that!
Not victim data, suspect data. The I-7 case file, which page are you referring to? The suspect data page. At the trial, Jeffrey Master was found guilty of being an accomplice to murder. And it took 1 year to arrive at this verdict. Right, that is indeed true. This book lists conditions in which the statute of limitations can be put on hold. There we go. The first, as I have said earlier, is if the suspect flees to a foreign country, but there's one more. So basically, the statute of limitations runs out in December of this year. If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached. What are you saying? So Master was found to be an accomplice? That's right. Mr. Master was sentenced after you had left for your trip to Zhengfa. And he was found guilty not of being a culprit, but of being an accomplice. But it seems you didn't know that. That's absurd. Sir Master never committed any crime to begin with. You should certainly know this. Of course we do. That is why we are going to free him. To that end, we will shatter the one remaining obstacle in our way, the statute of limitations. You fled to Zhengfa for 3 years, and Jeffrey Master was being tried as an accomplice for 1 year. Put it all together, we see that the total time limit for this case is 19 years. In other words, the statute of limitations is not over for you yet. Oh boy, the Goddess of Law is unerring in her judgments. However, it seems that the prosecutor at the time was not. I cannot believe it, but it seems like the case will have to be reopened. This is absurd. You cannot arrest me. For the last 18 years, an innocent man has suffered greatly in your stead. Mr. Gustavia, it's now time for you to atone for your crimes. I had finally earned my place as the greatest confectioner in the world. To achieve that goal, I cast everything aside, even my own son. What a shame. You can't run from your crimes any longer. Breakdown? Please have a breakdown. Oh yeah. Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh, he's making himself. Oh wow. That's pretty cool. That was interesting. What a case! Jesus. My throat hurts. Dane Gustavia has been taken into custody, sir. Yeah. So, you're up next, right? Yes, I understand. Ah, Kate. Everyone, I am truly sorry for all the trouble I've caused. And thank you very much for catching Monsieur Gustavia. What you did cannot be overlooked. Even if the crimes you committed were in response to a past injustice. As a prosecutor, I am terribly sorry for what happened. No, I'm only getting what I deserve, since I was the cause of all this. Kate, will you have me as your attorney? I'm not quite the same useless kid I was 18 years ago. I won't let them find you guilty. Oh, oh, Monsieur Shields. Yes, thank you so much. Look at her face. Aww. Yay! We did it! Sorry to interrupt, but it's time to go. Yes, alright. There she goes. Judge Courtney, I can't help but feel that you've been dishonest with me. Dishonest? Whatever do you mean? You said that the verdict could not be overturned, but that was not the case. A reinvestigation and retrial were obviously required as soon as the missing body was found. I have no need to answer you. It seems she doesn't intend to ever give me an answer. Prosecutor Edgeworth, the PIC has you in its sights. They will receive a report on everything you did here today, and you will most likely be required to appear before them. You make it sound like I should care. Whoop whoop. Now then, I shall take my leave. Bye-bye. Man. Hold on. Mr. Edgeworth caught the real bad guy. Didn't he do his job as a prosecutor? No matter how things turn out, I will never regret what I did here today. Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What is it? Why are you always sticking your nose into cases that you're not even involved with? My duty is to reveal the truth. Not only as a prosecutor, it's just who I am. I don't get it. As long as you continue to think that being the best is all that matters, I doubt you ever will. Well, I don't get that either. I'm going home. Oh, that was great. What was that all about? There's much he still needs to learn. Miley! What is it? I knew Greggy's son could do it. I think I might be falling for you. Oh god. Thanks for helping Jeffy. Yeah, well, yo, Edgy, great job solving that case. Well, I was busy drawing, so I really didn't catch all of it. Huh? Where did Katie and Justy run off to? Maurice, you really weren't paying much attention at all, were you? Well, I hate to admit it, but Larry's doodles actually helped us out a few times. I should say something nice to him. Don't glare at me like that, I'm sorry. It was not my intent to glare at you. That patented Edgeworth glare. You're just like your old man. Is that so? Well then, Uncle Ray's gonna go pay Mr. Master a visit. You guys want to tag along? I'd be happy to accompany you. Oh, me too. Visitor's room. So, this is Jeffrey Master. What's he like? Oh, he's a really nice and gentle guy. He's still doing his best to make people happy. He actually cooks desserts for the inmates. Nowadays, all the prisoners and guards look forward to... snack time at 3 o'clock. That's nice. Say, you remind me of an old friend. Do you know of a Detective Bad? Of course I do. Detective Bad is my #1 role model, pal. How uncanny. Talk about fate. Mr. Master, it's looking like we'll be able to get you out soon. I can only apologise that it took 18 years to do so. Raymond, I'm the one who should be apologising. No, that's not it. What I really should be saying is... Thank you. Mr. Master, now it's my turn to wait for Kate. I'll make her favourite sweets every day until she returns. Please, look after her, Raymond. You got it. Is that gonna be the end? Or is there gonna be more? The IO7 incident, the case I inherited from my father. After 18 long years, it's finally coming to a close. Hey, there we go. Miles, thanks for today. I am sorry for leaving that final decision to you. No, I made that decision of my own free will. What are you talking about? To arrest Gustavia, we had no choice but to use Mr. Master's false charge. To use Mr. Master's false charge, which I was originally supposed to protect him from, the attorney inside of me simply could not do it. So that's how it was. But, after this, Uncle Ray's going to try to clear away that false charge as well. Yes, I understand. What? But if they find out about the false charge, they won't be able to arrest Mr. Gustavia, right? That's true. It sure is a contradiction in the law. The way the law is right now, it isn't always completely right. A contradiction in the law. Well, who knows what will happen? The law evolves and grows, just like all of us do. Just like Uncle Ray and Miles have grown up. You know. People in the law. Both grow. Miles. To fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney, I want you to think carefully about how you want to live your life from now on. I will. Well, if you ask Uncle Ray, you'll always be welcome down at the office. Of course. Alrighty then. Looks like it's time for Uncle Ray to get going. Next time I see you, I'll be sure to thank you again. Really though, thanks for today. As he waves us away. Hey! Mr. Shields seems to be in a bit of a hurry. Indeed. I should be the one thanking him. I was able to face my father's last case because of him. When I was young, I wanted to become a great defense attorney, like my father. However, under Prosecutor Von Karma, I learned the ways of a prosecutor. Thanks to a certain friend, I was able to discover my own path in life. However, right now, there are forces trying to take me off the prosecutor's path. Oh ho! Name of the game. Maybe now is the perfect time to think about how I should live my life. And there it is. Wait, it's still in over? Jesus! It just don't end. Gregory, I'm sorry that it took so long. Aww. It may have taken 18 years, but finally, we've proven Mr. Master's innocence. Miles, your son, helped me with that. The way he fought for the truth. He was just like you, Gregory. Oh, that's the picture! Oh my god, look at him. I'm still not the kind of attorney you were, but I will forever carry on the convictions I inherited from you. And if I can... Oh man, that's great. Together with him. Aw, that's such a bittersweet ending. To fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney. The path I choose is... the truth. Oh, it's not even gonna say. The end. Yeah, of course. Penis! Alright. Well, I had some, random internet issues towards the end of this. I don't even know if this got split up into a separate bloody stream. If it did, that's fucking annoying. And if it did, I'll probably just delete the shorter one. Unless there's a way of joining them together. I'll have to look into it. Either way, that is going to be the end of this session. I finally finished the case. It took me 3 hours, so I'm kind of glad I had the tech difficulties. They're annoying as fuck, but I'm glad I ran into them. Mostly because it would have taken me 5 hours to actually complete the case, and I would have been dead by the end of that. So, yeah. Either way, that is going to be the end of this session. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and until next time, take care.